The Daytona International Speedway is dressed in bright sunshine for the first weekend of the 2006 season. Today, the NASCAR Busch Series begins its 25th year of competition. It has sent talented drivers to racing stardom. And this afternoon, 43 men will have the chance to say, "I won" at Daytona. They are all former champions. They have raced and won in the Busch Series and charged on to earn the title and a ticket to the next level, the Nextel Cup. In 2005, these young stars were shining in the Busch Series and now face the test and the tracks in the Nextel Cup Series. Today, the NASCAR Busch Series starts a new season with some new faces and some renewed hopes. And it all begins on NASCAR's biggest stage, Daytona, competing against some of NASCAR's biggest names. The 2006 NASCAR Busch Series is about to begin. Get ready to watch the stars shine. TNT Sports presents the NASCAR Busch Series. Live from Daytona Beach, Florida, it's the Hershey's Kissables 300. Hi, everybody. The TNT Race family, happy to welcome you to the start of the 2006 racing season. I'm Bill Weber. Sunny skies, temperature near 80 degrees. There is no bigger win for a NASCAR driver than a win at Daytona. Today, the stars of the Busch Series begin 2006 facing two big challenges: the restrictor plate racing at Daytona and the talented drivers from the Nextel Cup Series. Let's take you to the starting grid. Here's Matt Yoakum.
1 year ago, Tony Stewart had an impressive win, a great save through the grass to score his first ever NASCAR Busch Series victory. So is this a big tension breaker for tomorrow where all you do today is just go out and have fun?
Yeah, it's a great day. We're messing around with each other in case you can't tell, but yeah, it is. I mean, it's been a long 9 days, so today's a great day, obviously, to get with my good friends Kevin and Delana Harvick and my good partners with Old Spice and try to get them in victory lane for the first time. So I'm excited about it. It's, you know, we didn't get to practice this car in race trim as much as we were hoping to, but, you know, we had to make sure we qualified, and that was the biggest thing. So we got it in, got some runs yesterday, and, you know, got a really good crew, so I think we made the right adjustments for today.
Different crew chief than last year, but he has the same car owner, Delana Harvick, and Marty Snyder standing by with her husband.
Exactly, the man who pushed him to the win last year, his car owner, Kevin Harvick. Actually, Delana's really the owner. So today, will you be the pushee or the pusher today?
I'd say all that stuff just kind of works out however it falls there in the last couple laps, and it just happened to work out me pushing him. So hopefully we can take this Hershey Kissables Chevrolet and have it work the other way around. But I think our car is pretty good, and I think everybody's car is pretty good that in the KHI RCR stable. So. Should be fun, and I think somewhere in this pack is where I'd say the winner probably come from.
All right, your employee owes you one. Yeah, you remember that, okay? Yeah. Exactly right. Hey, last year in these two races at Daytona, Kevin finished second in both of them. Alan Bestwick.
Elliott Sadler crashed on Wednesday and had to pull out a backup car, but he qualified that backup car sixth fastest. Can that backup car be first at the end of today?
Well, Alan, we hope so. You know, my guys did a great job pulling the backup car and even making the field. I mean, we had to make it on time, so we were all worried and had our fingers crossed, but the City Financial Ford Fusion made it. I don't know how it's going to run on long runs because we had to be careful with it, but they say it tested good down here in January with Mike Wallace driving it, so we'll go there today. I want to just try to stay up front or stay near the front, keep all the stuff behind us, make adjustments to it, and be there at the end.
We wish you well. Elliott Sadler. Dave Burns.
And standing by with Jeff Burton, who marks his 8th time starting in this prelude to the 500. Tomorrow, he starts safely out in front of everybody. Today, you're kind of in the mix to get this thing going. How cautious do you have to be in the opening laps?
Well, it's a fine line between cautious and aggressive here with this package, man. It's going to be 3 wide really quickly, and just what I'd like to do is try to stay in the lead group, and hopefully that lead group can get separated, because this package is going to keep everybody bunched up. Really hot racetrack today, and it's going to be slick, but excited about it. Really pumped up to represent Coast Guard with all they do for our country, and hopefully we can make them proud.
Jeff Burton looking for his first win in the 300 today. Bill?
Thank you, Dave. Restrictor plate racing, it keeps cars in tight packs at high speeds, a recipe for exciting racing that can produce some thrilling moments and some frightening ones. Today, the Busch Series on the track, and tomorrow, the Daytona 500 for the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. Our coverage begins with the Bank of America Countdown to Green at 1:30 Eastern Time on NBC. We'll talk to the stars of the sport just before they climb into their cars for the Great American Race. You'll hear the candid comments on how drivers prepare for this high-wire brand of racing. We'll visit Wally's World, and you'll enjoy the Sprint Tribute to America with Bon Jovi. The Daytona 500 tomorrow on 1:30 Eastern Time on NBC. Today, 300 miles for the NASCAR Busch Series. Next, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and the pre-race ceremonies live from Daytona.
The Hershey's Kissables 300, live from Daytona International Speedway. Brought to you by new Hershey's Kissables chocolates. Candy-coated mini kisses brand chocolates that are delicious, shareable, adorable, and colorful. By Pizza Hut, home of the new Cheesy Bites Pizza. Gather around the good stuff. By Propane. Propane, exceptional energy. And by Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. Busch, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Busch Series, 25 years running.
Dale Earnhardt made winning this race a habit. It had a different name, but you knew in the Busch race at Daytona you had to beat Earnhardt. His success on Saturday never carried over to Sunday until that great afternoon in February of 1998. Dale Jr. has carried on the winning tradition in NASCAR, including this race. It was 5 years ago today we lost Dale Earnhardt. His wins and his smile will never be forgotten. Words cannot explain his impact on the sport, his intensity for winning, or his popularity with the fans. But memories always will. Today, a silent lap 3, another race and another day that we remember this sport's superhero, known simply by his number and his name, Earnhardt. The Earnhardt family races on today. Dale Jr. starts 20th, and Alan is with him.
Junior, your dad won the first ever NASCAR Busch Series race 25 years ago here. Can you add to the family win total today?
Yeah, we got a car that can, and we make the right moves on and off pit road, and I make the right moves on the track. We can get it done.
Good luck today. Dale Jr. starts from 20th position. Beautiful weather here on Florida's east central coast. A great crowd on hand. And now the pre-race ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the U.S. Air Force Color Guard out of Patrick Air Force Base presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing and welcome Dr. David Cox, First Baptist Church, Daytona Beach, Florida, as he delivers today's invocation.
Father God, thank you for this beautiful day that you have given us here today at the Raceway. Thank you for Daytona International Speedway and for NASCAR. And thank you for these drivers and these racing teams that have put so much preparation into today's race. Lord, would you bless, preserve, and keep them safe, their crews, their racing teams, and encourage their families. And as we pull on, Lord, our favorite drivers and racing teams today, help us to glorify and honor your name, oh Lord, the name of Jesus Christ that we pray. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome J Records Platinum Recording Artist Gavin DeGraw as he performs today's national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
That B1 sure has got a lot of attention, but today our attention turns to the track and the stars of the NASCAR Busch Series. We'll have the command when we continue our live coverage on TNT from the Daytona International Speedway.
Well, welcome to everyone watching Motors TV this evening in the United Kingdom and throughout Europe as we are live from the Daytona International Speedway in Florida, the United States, for round one of this, the 25th anniversary NASCAR Busch season, the Hershey Kissables 300. Well, as Bill Weber was saying, the weather's beautiful from South Florida here today. It's 80 degrees, clear skies. Doesn't look like we're going to have any problems with the weather, so we're going to get this 300-mile race in tonight without any problems. And starting on pole, a bit of a surprise tonight, J.J. Yeley, yes, from the Gibbs Racing Team. J.J. will be starting on pole, and in fact, he'll be doing double duty, of course. This year, he's running the entire NASCAR Busch Championship as well as the Nextel Cup. So Tony Stewart's protege is going to have a lot of work to do this year, and he hasn't gotten off to great starts in years past, but this year he's gotten off to the perfect start with the pole here today at the Daytona NASCAR Busch season opener. And alongside J.J. Yeley be the Dodge of Aaron Fike. Aaron Fike hasn't done too much to be really worth noting in the NASCAR Busch Series, but he had a fine qualifying, and he'll be starting on outside of row 1. Lining up in row 2 will be Clint Boyer, 2 wins in the NASCAR Busch Series and a serious contender for end-of-the-year honors. Clint Boyer as well, he'll be running the entire season this year in both the Nextel and the NASCAR Busch Series. Clint with the RCR team, he's going to have a very, very good teammate in Kevin Harvick in Nextel Cup. And, of course, he's going to also have quite a big workload on his hands this year. Starting next to Clint Boyer will be Johnny Sauter. Johnny's got 3 career wins in NASCAR Busch Series. Starting on the inside of row 3 is the first rookie in the NASCAR Busch Series, the best qualified rookie. It's none other than 42-year-old John Andretti from the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. 340 career starts in Nextel, 1 victory actually here at Daytona in the July race, the Pepsi 400 some years ago. And John, in fact, is a rookie. He's the oldest rookie, I believe, in the history of NASCAR, and he will have to run with those yellow stripes that note the rookies out there. So I'm sure he'll be looking to do a lot better than just a mere rookie. He's looking to get his career back online after a few struggles these last few seasons. Starting next to John will be Elliott Sadler, of course, who won one of the dual 150 races on Thursday for the Nextel Cup. Elliott's got 5 career wins in the NASCAR Busch Series. Starting in row 4 will be Joe Nemechek, 16 career wins, a veteran of course, of the NASCAR Busch Series as well as the Nextel Cup. And lining up alongside of Joe will be Danny O'Quinn Jr. Danny O'Quinn, not too many people have heard of him, but he's been brought in by the Roush team. Anyway, we're going to send you back to the TNT crew as we go live from Daytona.
Second consecutive season of NASCAR coverage on Turner Sports. Today, the Hershey's Kissables 300 on TNT. Spectacular day here in Daytona. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having us in for the race. Bill Weber along with Wally Dullaback and Benny Parsons. So, we've been waiting around. We finally get to start the season. Everybody's all revved up. What are we going to see today?
Well, I think we're going to see a couple of things. I think, number 1, competitive and interesting. First interesting part, we have 18 Cup drivers in this race. They decided to work today rather than take the day off. We have 8 rookies that have never raced here in Daytona before. Now throw the other 17 drivers in, and we could have a very interesting race. The second part, the competitive part, these cars have a different aero package than the Nextel Cup cars. They have a roof rail across the top and also a lip on the rear spoiler. Both these things create drag, making passing easier on these cars. that does put a lot of pressure on those guys without a lot of experience.
It sure does, and experience is a big factor in this race. We were talking earlier in the week, everyone's concerned about the big wreck in the Daytona 500, but there should be a lot of concern about it today because of the experience in this field.
Or inexperience.
Right.
So there's a lot of guys that have never raced here, not a lot of guys that bump draft. Bump drafting is something we've been talking about all week, and there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. You got to be careful when you're bump drafting. This is a wrong way to do it. You don't want to nail a guy in front of you that's going to push him into somebody else and get him sideways. The only reason that wasn't a wreck is because Schrader loves to drive sideways, and he's good at saving a race car. He's in the 66 car. This is the proper way. You see Jimmy Johnson just tapping Earnhardt past the 17 car of Matt Kenseth. The right way to do it. He'll lay off that bumper before they get to the corner. If you start leaning on guys going through the corner, if you start hitting their bumpers in the corner, you're going to see a wreck, and we've got some inexperience here, so we got to keep our eyes open for that.
300 miles today for the stars of the NASCAR Busch Series and those guys that came over from the Nextel Cup garage. Let's go trackside and get the command.
Race fans, we now welcome Brian Bosnick, Area Vice President for CVS Pharmacy, and today's honorary Hershey's Kissables 300 Grand Marshal, Jessica Jones. Jessica and Brian, will you do us the honors?
Gentlemen, start your engines.
This is the moment these drivers, their teams, and the fans have been waiting for on a beautiful day in Daytona, the season opener for the NASCAR Busch Series. The starting grid and the start of the race coming up. The cars have come to life on pit road, 43 of them answering the command to start engines. Momentarily, they will roll off of pit road onto the track, and then 300 miles to determine the first winner of the Busch season in 2006. Here's the starting grid for the Hershey's Kissables 300. J.J. Yaley has the pole for the first time, along with Aaron Fike on the front row. Clint Boyer doing double duty this year. Johnny Sauter in row 2. Row 3, John Andretti, a rookie in this race, and Elliott Sadler.
In row 4 on the inside, experienced Joe Nemechek. Daniel Quinn on the outside, his first race. Kyle Busch, Greg Biffle, couple Cup drivers in 5. Carl Edwards, Casey Kane, more Cup drivers in 6.
In row 7, we've got Reed Sorensen on the inside, Paul Menard on the outside, Jeff Burton, our pole setter for the Daytona 500. Row 8, Tony Stewart won this race last year. Kevin Harvick and Bud Shootout winner, Denny Hamlin.
In row 10, rookie Todd Cleaver alongside Dale Earnhardt Jr. Bernie Lamar and Tim Sauter in row 11. Row 12, former series champion David Green and Jason Leffler.
Inside of row 13 is Mark McFarland driving for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Brian Vickers on the outside, Jason Keller, Stedman Marlin, Kenny Schrader, and Kenny Wallace back in row 15.
Row 16, we have Stacy Compton, Regan Smith, A.J. Foyt, the 4th. John Wood is on the outside of row 17 with Ashton Lewis Jr. and Jamie McMurray coming from deep in the field.
Row 19, open wheel star Paul Tracy in the 34 car next to David Rudiman. Tracy Hines shares row 20 with Donnie Neuenberger. Row 21, Mark Green and Michael Waltrip. And starting shotgun on the field, former series champion Steve Grissom. While he's on the radio, who are you hunting for?
Let's see if we can get a hold of Carl. Hey, Carl Edwards, this is Wally up in the booth. Can you hear me?
Clear, Wally.
Well, this track is going to be hot and slick. It's going to be like Darlington. Are you ready for it today?
Hey, man, that's one of my favorite places, Darlington. I hope it's hot and slick. That'll be a lot of fun for us.
Now, we were told you're going to be starting from the rear. What's up with that?
I don't know the whole story, and I don't think I want to. I guess the old AmeriQuest Fusion, we didn't have the hubcaps on the rear or something for qualifying. Just a little mistake, but I got faith in my crew, and I think we're going to have a great race, and hope we put on a good show for everybody up there at AmeriQuest booth.
Well, it's going to be fun watching you work your way back up to the front. Good luck.
Thanks a lot. I hope you guys enjoy us as much as I do, man. This is going to be a great race.
Thanks, Carl. We certainly will, and so will the fans at home and here at Daytona. The field warming up the engines on the racetrack. The green flag coming up next on TNT.
Well, as the 43-car field makes its way around the Daytona International Speedway, the 2.5-mile tri-oval, We just have a few more minutes before we go to the green flag and the start of the season, at the 25th season of the NASCAR Busch Series. A lot of tribute being paid to the late Dale Earnhardt Sr., of course. It's been 5 years since he was tragically lost in a last corner, last lap accident in the Daytona 500, where his employee, actually Michael Waltrip, had gone on to win the race with Dale Earnhardt Jr. in tow for second place. And unfortunately, the racing community lost a legend on that day. Dale Earnhardt Jr. lost his father on that day 5 years ago, this very day. So he'll be looking to put that Oreos car in victory lane to give the old man upstairs a little bit something to smile about looking down. Interesting to note that Champ Car champion of past, Paul Tracy, and of course Sebastian Bourdais' arch nemesis in the Champ Car World Series, is making a NASCAR Busch Series start today. Paul Tracy hasn't minced words of late. He would like to make a career path, a little bit of a change in his career. He'd like to move over actually to NASCAR racing, and he's going to be doing a handful of races this year in the Busch Series in that white car, that number 34, I believe, before next year trying to put a full package together to join the NASCAR family along with Toyota. Big announcements being made over the winter as the Toyota Camry will be making its debut in NASCAR Nextel Cup next year. So there's a lot of interesting things going on, a lot of new faces, like Bill Weber was saying. A few rookies to look out for. Danny O'Quinn, as I had mentioned earlier, a fine qualifying position. He qualified 8th, and he'll have Kyle Busch. Of course, Kyle Busch, who's a full-time Nextel Cup driver. He'll be running the entire series in the Busch as well this year. Kyle Busch has got 6 career wins. He was the runner-up in the championship in 2004. And we'll just do a little bit of a rundown. Starting 10th will be Greg Biffle. Greg Biffle, of course, was the 2002 NASCAR Busch Series champion. He's got 17 career wins. And from 11th place back, we've got some serious contenders. We've got Carl Edwards and Casey Kane on row 6, Reed Sorensen, Paul Menard on row 7, Jeff Burton, the pole winner for tomorrow's Nextel Daytona 500 race, as well as Tony Stewart, last year's Nextel Cup champion, and the winner of this race here last year, the season opener for the NASCAR Busch Series. Tony Stewart won that race for Kevin Harvick, who starts right behind him. Denny Hamlin, who won the Bud Shootout, will be starting 18th. Anyway, we're going to send you back to the crew live from Daytona. Enjoy the race.
TNT Sports live at the Daytona International Speedway in Florida for the Hershey's Kissables 300, the first race of 2006 for the NASCAR Busch Series. Final stories from pit road, and Marty bats first.
Well, Bill, you are looking in the number 10 car at John Andretti. Yes, the same John Andretti with 300-plus Cup starts and a couple of Cup Series wins. But on the rear bumper, yes, that is a yellow stripe. John Andretti is a rookie here in the Busch Series. Just his second career Busch Series start. Actually, the other one came right here in this race back in 1998. Now, John is running for Rookie of the Year, believe it or not, in the Busch Series, planning to run all these races this year. Told me he doesn't have a lot of drafting experience in this car. They came down here, didn't have a spot in the field, so they spent most of their practice time on qualifying. So the draft will be something new for John Andretti, and this rookie hopes to do well today. Matt.
Marty, a couple first-timers on the front row. J.J. Yaley scoring his first ever NASCAR Busch Series pole, and Aaron Fike, his best ever NASCAR Busch Series start. Now, Yaley told me that his car is awesome. He can drive it anywhere on the racetrack, unlike his Nextel Cup car. But an interesting conversation between the two front row starters. Fike told Yaley, I'm thinking about getting in the gas about 30 feet or so before the start or restart line. And J.J. says, well, you do know what happens if you do that, don't you? And you beat me to the start-finish line? And Aaron says, no. He goes, well, that means you'll get the black flag because I have to get there first. He's like, I didn't know that because it's a new experience for both of them. Keep an eye on that front row today. Today, Burns.
Matty, it's a familiar series for Clint Boyer. He's running in both today's race and tomorrow's race. When he runs for his Nextel Cup car, it's got rookie stripes on the back of it, just like Marty talked about with John Andretti. That's because it's his first year in full Nextel Cup competition. But he's run many laps in the Busch Series already, having been last year's runner-up to the championship. As many laps as he's had between both cars here at Daytona this week, he feels like he knows the place, and especially in this Busch car, can contend for this race, and hopefully in 2006, contend for the Busch Series championship. Alan?
Well, the field for today's race is a very interesting mix, from 50-year-old Ken Schrader making his 91st Daytona start to a quartet of 20-something-year-olds getting their first Daytona racing experiences. They're all after the same thing, a chance to stand in victory lane and hold a winner's trophy from Daytona. One of these 43 drivers gets the chance this afternoon. It's the 300 miles between now and then. That's the fun part for all of us. Bill?
Thanks, Alan. You guys enjoy the race down there this afternoon. Who will rock Daytona? Follow the action live with NASCAR.com's Track Pass. And don't miss a single move made by your favorite driver. For a special preseason pricing on Track Pass, just go to NASCAR.com. Half a lap to go, Benny. What are the drivers thinking?
Well, those 8 rookies that haven't been to Daytona before, they are a bundle of nerves because they really and truly don't know what's going to happen when these cars get down in turn one, especially the second time by when they're up to about 190 miles per hour.
It'll take about a lap and a half to get up to speed, huh, Wally?
Yeah, but they'll be 3 abreast before they get to turn 3 on the first lap, I bet.
And the spotter will be screaming at them. Inside, outside, you're in the middle.
Spotter's got his work cut out for him here, doesn't he, BP?
It's a very tough place to be a spotter. As a matter of fact, it takes 2. There's one on the front stretch on the roof. They also place spotters off turn 2. There the guys are.
Nice and easy here, bud. Nice and easy.
Talking to their drivers.
Right above the start-finish line here at Daytona. 300 miles on this 2.5-mile track. You saw it's 79 degrees. Temperature could climb to 81 this afternoon. 43 drivers. The opening race of the 2006 NASCAR Busch Series will take you all the way to Homestead. Green flags out on TNT.
We have trouble brewing. Now these cars are getting 3 wide, just like Wally said. And it's a storm approaching.
Daly and Boyer out in front, and there they go, Wally.
Yeah, somebody's getting split up there right up front.
That orange car on the outside is Johnny Sauter, his first ride. He's a Busch regular, but it's his first ride for Haas organization. He drove for Finch last year.
Down the backstretch, and the field heads into turn 3. 5 years ago today, this sport lost its biggest star in a last lap crash in the Daytona 500. We don't see Dale Earnhardt anymore, but every race, every place, we can feel the magic and the memories the man brought to this sport. Today on lap 3, a salute to 7-time series champion Dale Earnhardt. Turn 2.
That's Kenny Schrader. Sideways. Oh, I thought he was going to miss the wall, but he spun around and got it at the front of his car. Looks like a tire's way back there. I wonder if he lost a tire back there, BP. Left rear.
Sure looks like the left rear. It was flat on the 66. Alan?
Kenny just came on the radio, said flat left rear or right rear. One of them.
We can answer that question. It's the left.
In the middle of the turn. Nothing I can do. I got all the way up high.
Schrader brings out the caution on lap 3.
Pretty much lose a left rear tire at a place like this in the corners, and there's not a whole lot you can do.
And I'm so surprised and amazed and thrilled that all those drivers somehow missed him.
Somehow.
Watch this. John Lucas just made it,
yeah.
Then he comes back down the track.
That's the scary part right there for a driver. When you're sliding down that racetrack backwards, looking up the racetrack at your competitors, the last thing a driver wants to do.
Michael Waltrip's ride.
Back it down. He's on the apron. He's coming back across the track. Back it down. He's up against the track. He's up against the wall. See him.
Nice having all that pavement down there now. That used to be grass a long time ago. Now a driver can really avoid somebody sliding down the racetrack because you've got all that room to avoid it now.
All this at about 185, 190 miles an hour. First caution is out at Daytona. J.J. Yaley leads Clint Boyer in the Hershey's Kissables 300.
Well, veteran Kenny Schrader gets the award for the first yellow of the 2006 season as that Duraflame number 66 suffered a puncture, and he went for a nice slide across the asphalt. Wally Dallenbeck made a very good point there that in years gone by, that used to be all grass down there, and if there was any moisture whatsoever, the cars would actually accelerate once they had hit that grass. And I'm sure, as we saw from Michael Waltrip's car, the field's very pleased that, in fact, now it's all nice thick asphalt, and they can avoid cars that happen to be spinning out in front of them. As we ride along, I believe we are riding along with Kevin Harvick in the Kissables Chevrolet. It's the Kissables race, so I would assume that is, in fact, Kevin Harvick's ride, the RCR car. And we can see Kenny Schrader making his way very slowly back to the pits. He'll be out there momentarily, but he will be running shotgun on the field. As we look at the leaderboard, well, J.J. Yeley's still holding on to the lead in that number 18 Joe Gibbs Chevrolet. He's got Clint Boyer in tow. John Andretti, the oldest rookie in the history of motor racing, he's doing a fine job here today, running third. Johnny Sauter in his first ride for that new outfit for him, Haas Racing, he's running fourth. Elliott Sadler fifth, Kyle Busch sixth, Casey King, Greg Biffle, Paul Menard, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. round out the top 10 after just 5 laps of running here today of the 120-lap, 300-mile NASCAR Busch season opener on Motors TV. We're very pleased to have everyone up on the forum. We've got our race chat from Daytona. We've even got a NASCAR Busch Daytona Live German forum. If any of your German-speaking friends want to drop us a line on the English side, we'll be pleased to say hi to you guys. But one of our favorite friends, of course, Rokan, has started the forum. He's the first one up this year. He started, in fact, the race chat Daytona. And we'd like to just take a moment out. We lost one of our dear friends over the winter. Unfortunately, Sue, everyone on the forum remembers Sue for her poetry, for all kinds of interesting quotes that she had all the way through 2005 on the NASCAR Busch forum here at MotorsTV.com. Unfortunately, Sue passed away just before the season finale last year at Homestead, and we'd just like to say that we've got her in our thoughts, and we'd like to send out our condolences to all of Sue's friends. She had quite a few fans actually on the forum, and her family, of course. Anyway, as we're running yellow here, we should be going back to green in just a few seconds. So we're going to send you back to South Florida, to Daytona Beach, 25th anniversary of the series, season opener, Hershey Kissables 300. Enjoy the race.
Still under caution here at Daytona. We'll put you in Kenny Wallace's car, and you can see why we're under caution.
Here with the 64, need it. Come on. Nice job here, nice job.
No idea how close that was. Oh my.
Oh, yes, we do.
We can see how close he was.
We do now.
That was Mike Kalanoff, the spotter for Kenny Wallace.
Be sure to catch the drama of NBA All-Star Weekend on TNT. Following the race, we'll have 7 hours of coverage, including All-Star Saturday Night presented by AOL. It culminates tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, with the 55th annual NBA All-Star Game from Houston, right here on TNT.
Now everybody's thinking about tires.
Yes.
A pit road update from Alan Bestwood.
Yeah, Bill, a brake line has come loose onto the left front corner of Joe Nemechek's car. They have tried to repair it. I don't know if they've got it completely done. They're going to try and get to the next caution and see if they can fix it then.
Wow, is it leaking fluid, Alan, do you know?
It was when it came in. They think they might have gotten that stopped. Note the use of the word think.
Yeah, because if you try to wait for the next yellow and you haven't, you're going to push all the fluid out of it, and then you're really in trouble.
You know, I'm surprised. We've seen several good cars come down pit road. Todd Cleaver, Jack Roush's rookie driver this year, has been on pit road. Reed Sorensen made a pit stop, which having to restart this race in the back. There we see Sorensen leaving. It's quite unusual. Marty?
Well, BB made several changes on Reed Sorensen's car. He called it undrivable, extremely tight. They put a spring rubber on the right rear, 2 rounds of wedge out of the left rear, and they changed tires on the car. So they were not very happy with the way it handled early on for Reed Sorensen.
Well, that's what I was going to say, VP. I think some of these guys' cars are probably so bad right now that this is the time you can do it, get away with it because it's a caution. And because the car is that bad, you need to get it in before you wreck it.
And all those changes they made just makes the car want to go around the corner a little bit better. Now, as he goes in the turns the steering wheel, the car wants to, I want to go straight. I don't want to turn. Well, they make the changes to help the car turn.
And you know it was really ill handling when he gives up a position near the front and has to restart at the rear of the field. Pace car to pit road. J.J. Yaley brings them to the green flag.
And they're all single file. How long will it take them to get 3 wide? Backstretch?
Yeah, I'm going to say the backstretch. You never know. It takes so long for these cars to get up to speed. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer on a restart, but we'll see what happens. Somebody gets a really good start back there around 8th, 9th position. They'll normally jump out, but it looks like it's a pretty even restart, except for a guy maybe in 4th place.
They come up to speed, and we check with Dave.
And Bill, Kenny Schrader has pulled the 66 car into the garage area. Right now they're using a hydraulic spreader on the left front of that car, being very careful not to pinch off an oil line to the motor while they're doing so. They're also going to put a skirt around the front of the car, a new skirt, and also work on some other cosmetic things. No suspension parts have come off the car yet, and that's a good sign.
Thanks, Dave. That's Elliott Sadler there, the 90 car that jumped up, couldn't stand it. He's got a little bit of help there from Casey Kane.
Also Greg Biffle in the 16. 3 cars on the outside. Can they make any headway? No.
Yeah, I think they're going to need a little bit more help there, VP. We'll see. But 2 or 3 other cars jump up on that outside line. I think they can get to J.J. Yaley.
Menard thought about it, but then decided to take the low line.
And I'm told the 11 car of Menard has been very, very fast. There comes another fast car, the 8 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Biffle goes 3 wide on the outside.
And which way is Earnhardt going to go?
I think he's going to go in the middle.
AB, I talked to Dale Earnhardt Jr. about how he was going to get to the front in this race from 20th starting spot. He said working with the Nextel Cup drivers, the guys with Daytona experience are the guys that I want to run around. Having a pretty fast race car doesn't hurt either. Huh, Benny and Wally?
No. He got in the back of Casey King entering the trial.
That was the woe. Looks like Casey King got a little bit loose there. I don't know if there's such thing as a little bit here at Daytona either. Car gets loose here, gets sideways, and it opens your eyes.
Now the 33, Tony Stewart behind Junior. Matt.
Now, Bill, at the beginning of the show, we had that great shot of all the spotters on the roof, and one of those spotters was Mark Robertson, Tony's Nextel Cup spotter. Now, Mark told me when they run the Busch Series, he doesn't really work a lot with the other spotters because, A, he's not really sure who half of them work for, and B, when it comes to restrictor plate racing, by the time you try to make a deal with somebody, time has already passed. So basically, Tony's just going to hook up with his buddy Dale Earnhardt Jr. and some of the other DEI/RCR cars. AB?
Greg Biffle doesn't have a lot of laps in race trim in this 16 car in this race. They had a little incident in the Elliott Sadler, A.J. Foyt, the 4th crash, David Green crash on Wednesday in practice, nicked up the right side of that car. Their backup car isn't fast enough that they want to race, so Biffle had to be very cautious in drafting practice to not ding this car up.
Sorry, Alan. He's got Clint Boyer in the 2 car looking on the outside for the lead. Will he get some help? Maybe Elliott Sadler could get there to help him.
Oh, the 5 car wanted to come out and get in front of Elliott Sadler. Could not do it. That's Sadler on the outside in the 90.
Yaley in the 18 with John Andretti right behind him in the 10.
I'll tell you what, those cars on the bottom are running awfully close to each other right now.
I tell you, that is John Andretti has been so impressive because when they threw the green today, that was his first laps drafting in this 10 car. Because he did not have a starting spot. He had to concentrate on qualifying. Dave Burns.
And car owner Greg Pollux told me yesterday during Busch pole qualifying, they actually did not test very well in the 10 car. Went home and cut it up. He said it's been a long time since I spent the money to cut up a race car, but they worked very hard on that 10. It was great in qualifying and runs up front now, Alan.
The 00 car, a new look for Johnny Sauter in 2006. This is the Gene Haas car. This is a Hendrick chassis and a Hendrick engine. Johnny and crew chief Harold Holley very excited before the race about their prospects for winning at Daytona. Johnny said this could be a lot of fun today. Marty?
Alan, Two behind him, Paul Menard in that 11 car. He missed the Daytona 500, and he told me this morning this car is excellent. I can put it anywhere on the racetrack, and it'll work for me. Low, high, in the middle, doesn't matter. The 11 car, very fast.
Thanks, Marty. And as we watch the front of the field, this is off the rear of Kyle Busch's car. We can tell you Carl Edwards has worked his way up to 23rd from the rear of the field.
And outside line starting to creep up there. Jeff Burton in the 21 car.
Clint Boyer's going to try it again.
He's got a little bit more help this time around.
A pretty good string of cars on the outside with him. Casey Kane's up there on the outside. Now, that's not a shock to us folks that watch NASCAR racing pretty regular because he loves the outside groove, the 9 car.
I'd say Yaley's got some good stuff.
Yeah, apparently.
Marty, you're watching Jeff Burton?
Yeah, and his car is a little bit tight, Bill. He said it's starting to float the nose really badly in the middle of the corners. He told the crew, you cannot loosen me up enough on this next stop. I think the weather threw everybody for a little bit of a loop today. It's about probably 5 to 10 degrees warmer than it was yesterday, and the cars were set up, and that's a battle for the lead, 3 wide. Dave?
And Marty, that car is Elliott Sadler in the 90 as he takes the lead on the outside of Clint Boyer. Can he hold it? It's going to be tough. They're coming together, guys. Remember, that's a backup car for Sadler in the 90. Alan mentioned the incident the other day that started things off. They had to go to the backup, and they're very pleased that this second car for Elliott over the weekend is running as well as it is.
What was that recipe again?
Thank goodness J.J. Yaley backed off the throttle down in turn 1.
That would have taken about 20 of them.
And we're not done yet here.
Where did Jeff Burton in the middle come from to take the lead?
Jeff Burton, who's on the pole for the Daytona 500 tomorrow. Rides in that 21 car.
This is a handful right here. Let me tell you what, as hot as this racetrack is today and as slippery as it is to run 3 wide, 2 or 3 rows deep. And here's that bump draft that we were talking about. Doing it right down the straightaway, then he lets off in the corner. And see how it shot the car forward? That's what you're looking to do when you bump draft. This racetrack is going to be real greasy here before this race is over.
The hotter it is, the slicker it is. Is that basically how it works out?
Yes.
And that makes it a handful for these guys. Jeff Burton trying to get the lead from Clint Boyer. We'll take a break. If anything breaks out, we'll break in. You're watching NASCAR live on TNT.
Well, as we're riding along with race leader Clint Boyer, it looks like Jeff Burton, in fact, tried to get on the outside of Clint Boyer there. As we see, we're riding along, I guess, with Kevin Harvick, and that's Champ Car driver Paul Tracy, who just came up on the outside. Paul Tracy's looking to work his way forward. He qualified 37th today. Paul's now running in a good 22nd position, actually. In fact, he just got past Dale Earnhardt Jr., it looks like. Anyway, we're riding along here. As we can see, the front pack, they're running 3 abreast down the straights. They're trying to keep it all nice and clean. J.J. Yeley did a fine job to kind of just back off the throttle ever so little bit after he got nudged by Clint Boyer for the lead. Wise move there because they could have taken out literally half the field. As we see another car go down to the inside. The car we're riding along with seems to be just a little bit off the pace. I believe it is, in fact, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Yes, he's down to 24th position. He just got passed, I guess, by Mark Green or Aaron Fike. I'm not really sure. But anyway, Jeff Burton, in fact, in that number 21 Chevrolet Richard Childress Racing Monte Carlo is now the new race leader. He's got Greg Biffle in tow. Clint Boyer's running 3rd. Brian Vickers is up to 4th. Brian Vickers, of course, had a great career in NASCAR Busch before moving on to the Nextel Cup. Kyle Busch is running 5th, the same number as his car, and Kyle, of course, will be running both championships this year. He's got Casey Kane running right on his back bumper, and J.J. Yeley, our early race leader, our pole winner. J.J., well, he's dropped down to 7th, but he's still up in that front pack, and he could very easily be leading here in just a couple more laps. There's going to be a lot of lead changes today. Hopefully not too many cautions, and we're all praying that certainly we don't see one of those big ones, those restrictor plate speedway accidents where everyone's running nose to tail, bump drafting, all that stuff, and one gets it wrong and he takes out 20 of his friends. It's not a good sight. It's very dangerous. In fact, earlier in the week, Tony Stewart, the Nextel Cup defending champion, he actually went as far as to say that if this continues, they could actually end up hurting someone or even killing someone either this weekend here at Daytona or later on in the year at Talladega, the other super speedway event that NASCAR frequents each year. So NASCAR President Mike Hilton brought all the drivers together, sat them down, and basically said, look, the young guys, you need to watch the veterans. You need to watch how they bump draft. We'll let you do it, but please don't do it in the corners because you could get someone sideways, and if you do it, you're going to have some serious, serious repercussions to pay. As Dale Earnhardt said earlier, he only wants to bump draft with the guys he knows, his own teammates or some of the other veterans, because they still don't really know the young guys yet. But anyway, we're going to send you back to Daytona. The guys over there, they're experts. They're going to tell you all about it. Keep enjoying the race.
They continue to scramble at the front of the field in the Hershey's Kissables 300, the season opening race for the NASCAR Busch Series. TNT Sports Live at Daytona Beach, where Casey Kane is the leader.
That's Brian Vickers running second in the 57 car. Looks like Biffle on the outside.
Murray's in there. Burton still at the front. Clint Boyer, Yaley, 7th last time by. And that green 18 car on the inside.
Edmund Murray started back in 36th and has worked his way up to 5th. Wow.
Matt on Yaley.
You see, he's on the bottom still, and that was his game plan. He really didn't want to come off the bottom, judging from what people have seen this past week. The problem, most of the fast cars have moved to the outside, shuffled them back a little bit. Now he's just trying to get a big push. That's what he really needs now, Bill.
Always helps, Matt. Let's go on board with Kenny Wallace, Wally. See how he's handling today.
I'll take a look at his hands. He's got his hands full.
This is turn 2.
Copy, 11 with you.
Oh!
Looking inside, inside.
You hear him get out of the throttle. Car came up on him, and he had to get out of the gas.
Johnny Sauter. I think Johnny Sauter got a little bit loose off the corner, had to go up, save the car, and almost got in the 22 of Wallace.
Got one with him down there.
Sounds like a flight controller.
Telling us.
Now the audio from the spotter is slightly delayed to our television coverage, but obviously instantaneous to the driver.
Got a lot left left.
That and the reason why it's delayed was, well, the reason why we didn't hear the finish of Kenny's sentences.
Basically, yes.
Protects us.
Kind of like we wish we had on you sometimes.
Yeah. Sounds like these guys' handling issues are bad. I mean, there's a lot of cars that are pushing really bad right now. They're not wanting to turn. We have to keep an eye open and see if these guys run into right front tire problems as we get closer to the pit stops.
And inside.
Because if you're pushing that much, sometimes you'll really hurt the right front tire.
Talking to the crew, and the adjustment you make. Do not do something that's going to loosen me up and get it in the corner.
That means he's already there, right?
Which means he doesn't want to go any further. That's right.
Still inside. Still at your corner.
Sticks his hand out the window to get some air into the car down the backstretch. Now, let's watch what happened just a second ago.
That's a lot of right turn. That steering wheel. And he just reacted to a car drifting up. That was going to run into him.
Kenny Schrader has returned to the race. He scored 19 laps down. Back up front, Greg Biffle has assumed the lead.
Well, I tell you what, some of these cars have some handling issues. The 18 car, the pole sitter, J.J. Yaley, he's worked his way back to 11th. The 90 car, Elliott Sadler, we saw up battling for the lead. He's all the way back about 25th or something. Dave Burns.
And BP, he may pit early. His car started running hot. And he was one of those cars that had to qualify up front. I don't believe this car was good on points to get into the race. And we saw that a lot last night in the Craftsman Truck Series race that was won here. Guys coming in early for overheating trucks. And today, cars that maybe had a little bit too much tape on them couldn't take enough off to give cool air to the motor today. And Elliott had to get out of the pack and cool that thing down.
Now, here's one problem these Busch drivers have. Because they have the big 22-gallon fuel cell, they can run 50, 55 laps. on gasoline, but I don't know that the right front tire will last that long.
I agree on that, especially if these cars are pushing that bad.
Now, where is Junior? There he is. Alan, what's he saying?
He's saying that he raced up into there a little bit earlier, BP, right? We saw him run up toward the front. Then we saw him drop back to like 24th.
Yes.
Too wild. Waiting for the herd to thin a little bit. Now he's going to pick his way through a little less dense traffic jam.
Alan, you know if he says it's too wild, there's a lot going on out there.
Yeah, exactly. Marty.
Alan, the man right behind him is Jamie McMurray, and I think he's happy camping out behind Dale Earnhardt Jr. He told me before the race, we're going to be horrible today. The car has not been good in practice at all. Then he came on the radio a few laps in and said, hey, guys, we're quick. We're pretty good. Ran up to the front and then decided to drop back with Junior. I think you're going to see these guys ride here for a little while and wait for something up front to happen, hopefully not involving them.
And something could happen. If it does, we'll let you know. We'll take a break. Greg Biffle is scored as the race leader at Daytona.
Well, we're working lap 26 here today of 120. Greg Biffle is out on point in that number 16 Ford from the Roush stable. He's got Casey Kane in tow. Jeff Burton, our pole sitter tomorrow for the next Cup race. He's running third with Clint Boyer, Kyle Busch, Brian Vickers. Got a whole load of Chevrolets, including Denny Hamlin, Jason Leffler, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. has worked his way up to 9th. John Andretti, our favorite rookie, has dropped down to 10th. Jimmy McMurray has moved his way up as well. He's running 11th. J.J. Yeley, Paul Menard, and it keeps going on and on. Anyway, Paul Tracy, who started 37th today, has actually done a fine job. He's kept his nose clean, which is a bit of a surprise for all of us who know him from the Champ Car Series. Paul's running a very respectable 16th place as we see the 77 car, the Dollar General car, getting around. I believe we're still riding along with Kevin Harvick. Everything's gone off to a pretty decent start. We've only had that one caution for Ken Schrader's blown tire. But other than that, everyone's kept their nose clean. A little bit of a wild section there with the first 10 laps or so where there was some 3 abreast running, but now it looks like cooler heads are prevailing. Everyone's wanting to save their right tire. They don't want to have to go all the way to the end of their fuel cell and when they run dry with a shoddy right tire. So I think they're all playing a waiting game right now, just trying to conserve their cars and try to get at least to that first pit stop and make the adjustments that need to be made. We were riding along with Kenny Wallace in the number 22 car, and we saw Kenny have to make some serious corrections as he got pushed up a little bit to the high side. He was actually having to go full lock to the right, and when you only turn left on in a NASCAR race, going full right's a pretty spectacular move, and he kept his nose clean. He lost a few spots, but Kenny has actually kept himself relatively competitive. He's running 14th. He's in company, in fact, with Paul Menard. He's got Paul Tracy, as a matter of fact, right behind him. Other rookies in the field, let's see, Bernie Lamar out of California. He's running a pretty decent 17th place so far. A lot of people don't know Bernie Lamar, but he's certainly one to be looking out for this year. He'll be driving for the Kevin Harvick team, so he'll have good equipment as he tries to make an impression here in the NASCAR Busch Series. So as we continue to ride along with Kevin Harvick, Bernie Lamar's teammate, and he gets past the number 12, we're going to send you back to Benny Parsons, to Bill Weber, to Wally Dahlbeck, Alan Bestwick, the entire TNT crew for more coverage of this, the Hershey Kissables 300, live from Daytona.
Back at Daytona, Elliott Sadler has been on and off pit road in the 90 car. He had a flat left front tire. He discovered it while he was at speed on the track. He brought it down to pit road safely. They were able to change 4 tires and get him back out. The left front completely destroyed. He had to come in.
That car's still smoking, Dave. I don't know if they've got all the problems taken care of. There's a lot of smoke coming from that 90 car.
It may be that the tire came apart enough and knocked an oil line off the 90 car. That's sometimes happened. The other day in practice Dave, what's going on?
Or perhaps as the tire was disintegrating, the rubber coming off and wrapping itself around the hub or something in there.
The brakes maybe. Yeah, it could be.
He's staying below the yellow line on the apron of the track.
Yeah, he's not
trouble, turn 4.
Caution is out.
Oh, don't slide up there.
Reed Sorensen.
Sure is.
Oh, wow.
That's somebody that doesn't understand the rules right there.
Yeah.
AB.
I believe Johnny Sauter has lost the right front there, guys. You see his car. Yeah, well, that's visual confirmation,
yeah.
Huh?
I kind of thought that was coming. For as bad as these cars were pushing, That's normally what happens. The first thing you start thinking about is right front blown out.
And this is exactly the point in the Nextel Cup we saw front tire issues. 29 laps.
Saw that Thursday in the twin qualifying races here. The 43 car of Aaron Fike.
Outside pole sitter.
There you see Sauter. I mean, just that tire let go. He had no place to go, and Aaron Fike was at the wrong place at the wrong time. I'm not sure what happened with Reed.
That's exactly what I was wondering. We might want to look at that again.
Reed got tagged up in the corner. He got tagged up in the corner. Here we go. See, the 41 is coming along.
I got him right in the quarter, right at the bumper. Yep. Yeah. You're good, BP.
See, Johnny Sauter had slowed down, almost crashed the lap previous, and I watched him down the front radio. He was slow. I guess he was waiting for that caution flag. And when you wait for that caution flag, you become the caution
yes,
flag.
Sir, you're right. Exactly right.
That's why these guys are going so fast when these guys are wrecking. Like, they've had enough time to see the wreck is happening, and you still got guys that are flying, trying to hurry up to get to the wreck.
Mike Walter looks back. Ashley's in front
of you. You see him down. You see him. Come on down if you can. You see it. Come on up. See the 41 right there. You got one inside you. Below. There you go. Come on.
Now here it is, real speed. Watch and listen. The caution is out at Daytona. You're watching NASCAR live on TNT. In NASCAR racing, when the caution comes out, the field is frozen. Drivers are supposed to slow down immediately.
I mean, look at this. These guys are wrecking, and then all of a sudden, here's this guy comes flying through the field.
This has to be a rookie. It's got to be a rookie. Somebody doesn't know what they're doing.
No, it just happens to be Joe Nemechek with no brakes.
He could slow down. And we listened to the radio communication between himself and the crew on this caution flag, and he says, I don't want tires, I want brakes. Yeah. Fix my brakes.
Please.
So Nemechek now getting his car attended to on pit road. Pit road is open, and here comes just about everybody. Dave Burns.
Rookie in Busch Series name only, John Andretti pulls his car onto pit road. He said, I'm in a four-wheel slide off the turns. Just don't make me any tighter. Air pressure adjustment to 3 corners. Only the left front stays the same on the 10 car. Marty.
Jeff Burton is on the top of your screen in that 21 car. He is the leader. Remember, he said you can't loosen me up enough. Listen to the changes. Half a pound in both front tires, a pound in the right rear tire, and 1 round up on the track bar. There's a lot of changes for the leader. Alan?
Middle of the left side frames. Clint Boyer came in 3rd position. Got to make an air pressure adjustment in the 2 right side tires to try and help his car turn a little better in the center of the corners, and then try and race as many of these guys off pit road as he can. Matty?
Service already completed on Denny Hamlin's Chevrolet. Now, his car was great on exit, but very loose on entrance. They went down on the track bar. He does have, due to Fike's issues, an easy entry, an open stall right in front of his pit.
Thanks, Matt. A lot of traffic on pit road. Joe Nemechek will be assessed a 1-lap penalty by NASCAR for failing to slow down when that caution came out. Looks like they're pushing the 27 car, former series champion David Green, back into his pit stall. An update when we return.
Well, the NASCAR Busch Series has made their first official pit stop of the season, and Jeff Burton looks like he'll be retaining the lead in the number 21 RCR Chevrolet. He'll have Casey Kane's Dodge in tow in 2nd, Clint Boyer's Chevrolet 3rd, followed by Greg Biffle. Brian Vickers, Jason Leffler is 6th. Kyle Busch, Paul Menard, Denny Hamlin, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. round out the top 10. Paul Tracy looks to have had a pretty good stop there. Paul Tracy, of course, the Champ Car veteran, is running in 13th position here in the season opener for, as we said earlier, the 25th anniversary of the NASCAR Busch Series quite a great series this year. There's going to be 7 drivers, like we said, running double duty in all the races, both Nextel Cup and NASCAR Busch. Some new faces, new rookies. Todd Cleaver, who was Rookie of the Year in the Craftsman Truck Series last year for Roush Racing. He's doing a full season in the Busch Championship. And Todd Cleaver has already signed his contract for 2007 to replace basically a living legend in NASCAR circles, Mark Martin, who will be finally hanging up his helmet in NASCAR Nextel Cup anyway at the end of this season. Todd Cleaver will be stepping into that very prestigious number 6 car next year for Roush Racing, so he's going to want to learn as much as he can with all these veterans out there today. Todd Cleaver is currently down in 22nd, so he's going to need to keep his nose clean because he's right in the middle of the action of this 43-car field, which I think we've lost 1 or 2 drivers. David Green apparently has some problems. Joe Nemechek was just given a penalty, a 1-lap penalty for not slowing down during that caution. It's pretty amazing that a veteran of Joe Nemechek's stature, front row Joe as we like to call him, I guess he didn't get the word from his spotters, but he should have seen that accident in front of him and slowed it down, so it's going to cost him 1 lap and pretty much any chance of victory here today at Daytona. So as we ride along in the AmeriQuest Fusion Ford of Greg Biffle, the Fusion is a new entry, of course, into NASCAR. As we had mentioned earlier, next year the Japanese are coming to NASCAR, and there's been mixed reaction to their involvement in this very American championship. But anyway, the Fusion's Ford's new entry into the series. A lot going on as we are talking about cars in NASCAR racing. Next year, they're going to be introducing an all-new car, the car of tomorrow, and the teams have been told they're going to have to run about, I believe, 12 to 15 races with that new car in 2007 to prepare themselves to run the entire campaign starting from 2008 in this all-new formula. So lots of things going on in NASCAR circles, but you're here live with us on Motors TV, live coverage from Daytona. We're going to send you back for the green flag restart.
TNT Sports live in Daytona Beach, Florida. Season opener for the NASCAR Busch Series, the Hershey's Kissables 300. We're coming around to get the green after a multi-car crash coming off of turn 4. A number of stories developing. Let's start with Marty.
Hey, Bill, David Green came on pit road, and when he dropped the jack, they popped the clutch and the gear broke. So they've taken him back to the garage for David Green, and they're going to have to repair that broken gear.
Things get worse for him because he crashed a car in practice, had to go to backup.
He was an innocent victim in that crash, wasn't he?
Uh-huh.
So the green comes out. Jamie McMurray made an extra pit stop for a lug nut. Kevin Harvick also made a second pit stop.
Caught up with Johnny Sauter. His car going to work like it's his crew going to work like the car's going back.
On the yellow trench, but it's too bad, not the way we want to start the 2006 season. But I don't know. The Cup guys couldn't run 25 laps on tires, and they expect us to run, 50 or 55. So I don't know. Just lost the right front tire and ended our day, I guess. We're just trying to look around and get what we can.
It's disappointing when you're on a brand new team and at Daytona, guys.
Thanks, Dave.
And the team was so optimistic about the marriage with Johnny Sauter and his team. They feel like he's a quality race car driver. He and Harold Ollie, the crew chief, seem to have a tremendous rapport with each other. But when the front tire blows out, nothing you can do about it.
And I don't think we're going to see the end of it.
No, it will be more.
I think there's going to be more of it today because it's been happening the last couple of days. It's been happening in the Cup Series. So these guys are all thinking about it now.
We saw Aaron Fike out of his car. He's been treated and released from the infield care center.
Junior up on the high side, trying to give Brian Vickers a push in the 57 car.
That means Kyle Busch in the 5 car is going backwards as those 2 cars go by him. Casey Kane, that 9, back to the front.
And 5 sets of tires for the Busch cars this weekend.
Oh, okay.
1 on the car, 4 sets on the ground.
They'll change that.
Dave Burns.
And Bill, you mentioned treated and released for Aaron Fike. That is good news, but that was a rough ride, wasn't it?
Yeah, I could tell Johnny was kind of fading back there, and I was just kind of biding my time for that first pit stop. I was really, really tight, and out of the corner of my eye to see him come up the track and just drill me. So nothing we could do. We had a good car. We're just waiting for the first pit stop to make some changes. I mean, we had a qualifying setup on it, and we were just waiting for that first pit stop. Feel bad for all our sponsors, you know, Microbe, Kerry Agajani, and all the guys have been working their butts off. So I just want to say hi to all my family back in Galesburg and friends. And I wish I could have had a better result, you know.
The irony is Johnny and Aaron are friends. They actually had a wager going about the pole position for the other day, and Aaron knocked Johnny off the pole before eventually it was handed over to today's pole sitter. Gee, who was on the front row today, Bill?
J.J. Yaley.
That's the guy I'm talking about, yeah.
And what they're talking about, what Aaron Fyfe was talking about in qualifying, this was an impound. After qualifying these cars, they could not touch them, couldn't do anything to them. And teams that came here with no points to fall back on had to go out with qualifying setups. Now the teams that had a guaranteed spot, they could work on their car, could practice and draft. But most of the guys had to worry about getting in the field with a qualifying setup.
Well, they are really fighting for some spots up there.
Yeah, Joe Jr. gets in the back of the 57, gets him a little bit squirrely, but Brian Vickers recovers.
Alan, how about Earnhardt?
Yeah, Bill, no adjustments on his pit stop. One speck of cord showing on his right front tire, just one speck, but still that was only 30 laps versus the 50 or 60 they might run at a full fuel load. It's going to be a situation down here all day long.
Right. Then he was kind of expecting that might happen. NASCAR has warned the crew chief of the 8 car that it's early in the race. You don't need to be in that big of a hurry. Jeff Burton also made a...
Oh, here we go. Trouble.
That's Menard and the 60 of Carl Edwards. Cars diving down pit road and several through the grass.
Oh, and he just clipped. Who is that? 38? Is that A.J. Foyt?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we got a little bit of damage.
I do too.
Oh, brother.
That's in the middle of the infield grass between pit road and the tri-oval. Foyt's car has come to a rest at the end of pit road.
Sitting on pit road. Let's see if we can see what happened there.
It looks like they just got squeezed. I don't know who that is, but he was squeezed in the middle and got into Carl Edwards in the 60 car.
And he just barely clipped the 38. All these new paint schemes. Hard to identify some of these cars. There
32 car.
Jason Leffler.
Leffler gets in there and he just sticks his nose in there and wanted enough room. And that's a hard thing to do, is go up the middle coming off of turn 4. That's really not.
Why is that?
Well, because the cars are sliding so much, especially the guy on the top is saving. The car on the bottom is sliding, and then you go to stick your car in there in the middle, and usually that's exactly what happens. You get sandwiched.
And they have stopped the cars. I guess there's so much debris here that they don't want the cars driving through. They have stopped them as they come off turn 4, and I don't. It's good.
The red flag is out. They're going to stop the field, as Benny said.
Well, we had a wreck in the 150s when that happened, so maybe they thought we better stop them on the racetrack.
Good idea.
On board with Clint Boyer.
No, Paul Menard.
Front of you, go low, go low, come on. There you go.
Menard came down the racetrack a little bit as well, so it's not completely Leffler's fault on that deal.
Front of you, right in front of you, back it down, back it down, back it down. Clear all the way to the bottom if you need it. See what you got in front of you.
Thank goodness for bulletproof glass, right?
Here you go. Check with Alan.
I'm trying to get around my camera crew here so I can get a quick word with Anthony Foyt before they take him away. Anthony, okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just unfortunate. Wrong place, wrong time. We had a really good car, so unfortunate for great clips, and all those guys work hard at the shop, so we'll go to California.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Alan. Nice hustle.
Let's see. Watch a yellow car when he's coming off the corner. I'm not sure if he's just. See, he's way up high. He kind of comes down.
Like he's going to settle in behind Burton.
There was 4 or 5 feet to the outside that he could have used.
Yeah.
I agree with you, yes.
Yeah.
But he probably doesn't know the 32's there.
Probably didn't.
Figures he has that piece of real estate and didn't. It's Voigt's car.
And I don't get the Stevie Reeves is a spotter in the 11 car, and I'm not sure he would be telling him looking on the inside that quickly, you know.
Now watch the nose of Edwards, the 60 car.
It disappears.
He's trying to get off the wall and then comes down the banking.
CNR is a red eater, so that's what you're seeing.
Matt.
Well, Paul Menard, Bill, has climbed out of his number 11 machine, talking things over with Dan Stillman. Very close quarters racing, Paul. What happened?
Yeah, I mean, everything was going good. We're, you know, a little bit of bump drafting and stuff going on, but nothing too major till the 32 got behind us.
Looking at the replay, we can see your yellow car.
Yeah, it was a big wreck. 32 car is bump drafting the hell out of us going down the backstretch, and I guess he tried making it, diving in the middle, making it 3 wide, and just got in the left rear and got into, I guess it's a 60, and messed us up. But too bad. Pittsburgh Paints, Menard Chevy was awesome. We're just kind of biding our time, you know, trying to take it easy, be there at the end.
Well, now the game plan is just to try to see what they can do to fix this number 11 car to get it back out for points. Paul running for the NASCAR Busch Series Championship.
It's had a difficult week here, Matt. Failed to make the Daytona 500. Involved in a wreck there. Now involved in a crash here. Actually, he lost a tire.
Blew it right front and hit the wall hard.
Right.
Front of you, go low, go low, come on. There you go.
Attaboy, Dylan. Mike Dillon.
Good job, bud.
Paul Menard, Jason Leffler, A.J. Foyt, Carl Edwards involved in the crash, although Leffler's car got through it pretty clean.
He may have a slight fender damage, but nothing like these other cars.
So the red flag is out at Daytona while they clean the racing surface. 39 laps are complete. Casey Kane is scored as the race leader. You're watching NASCAR live on TNT.
Well, something you don't see every day. The entire field, well, what's left of it anyway, the 4 cars that were involved in that accident, certainly we don't see them here. The field parked between turn 4 and the start-finish line as the NASCAR crew go out and clean up the debris from the Carl Edwards car and the A.J. Foyt Jr.'s car. Interesting to see A.J. Foyt, the grandson, of course, of legendary A.J. Foyt Jr., a 4-time winner of the Indianapolis 500. Anthony Joseph, the third, I believe he is switched from the IRL, the IndyCar Series, and he's trying to make his way here in the NASCAR Busch Series. He's got a good ride this year. That number 38 car, of course, for longtime viewers of NASCAR Busch know that was Casey Kane's ride for quite a long time, his sponsor, his car, everything. So he's joining the NASCAR Busch Series. It's good to see another open-wheel racer. We've got a few of them. Of course, John Andretti is currently parked in 4th place after starting way up the field, the highest qualifying rookie, if we want to call him that. John Andretti doing a fine job in that number 10 car, that PPC car. Of course, they've come from Champ Car many years ago. PPC was a Champ Car team. In fact, they were the first Toyota team that Cristiano D'Amato won the first Champ Car race for that Japanese brand in the championship before PPC decided to go NASCAR racing, and now they've got John Andretti in the Busch Series. What else can we say? Well, anyway, Casey Kane is our leader as the race has been momentarily stopped. Greg Biffle, the former champion, is running 2nd. Brian Vickers, of course, from Hendrick Motorsport, is running 3rd. The aforementioned Andretti in 4th. Kyle Busch, also from the Hendrick Motorsport team, he's running 5th. So they're well represented. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has moved his way up to 6th. Dale Earnhardt was getting a little feisty there. He got a warning. His crew chief actually got a warning from NASCAR telling them to lay off the bump drafting. It's a little bit too early in the race to be doing that particular maneuver. Everyone's got their eyes on that this year. In fact, Thursday, I believe, during the 150s, as the cars came down into the makeshift Parc Fermé, if we want to call it that, the NASCAR officials were checking both front noses and back bumpers to make sure there wasn't too much paint being scrubbed off, because they're taking that stuff very seriously here on the super speedway races, the restrictor plate events. They don't want to see too much of that going on. But they have told the drivers that if it comes down to the last couple of laps and the win is on the line, it can perhaps be done, but certainly not in the corners, and everyone just needs to keep their nose clean. But anyway, in a few moments, we're going to go a few seconds, actually. We're going to go back to TNT's coverage. We're going to find out where we are exactly for the restart. Anyway, they should be get going anytime now. Keep enjoying the race.
That is Jason.
That's
Leffler.
Jason Leffler, the 32 car, as they come off turn 4. Now we'll go forward. And he's going to run into the...
He's going to run into your circle.
My circle, yeah. And he's going to run into the 11 car, Paul Menard, there. And he goes down and catches the 60 car of Edwards in the right rear and turns him right in the side of Menard. And meanwhile, Leffler drives away.
And then Edwards comes down the track and just clips Foyt. Dave?
With Carl Edwards now, who's been released from the infield care center. You okay?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine. I just feel so bad for my whole AmeriQuest crew. We brought a car down. Wasn't that fast in testing, and they went back and worked day and night. The guys worked really hard, and I thought that was a great car. Just unfortunate, man.
Well, you were coming off the corner. You seem to be sort of the innocent victim there. Were you just holding your line?
Yeah, I've been the not innocent victim enough times that I'm just going to chalk this one up because Jason Edleski told me, he said the 32 or whoever the white car was working the middle, and the only thing I could have done better was just totally moved out of line. I didn't expect to get hit there, but I'm sure everybody's doing the best job they could. It's tough circumstances.
All right, Carl Edwards is okay. He'll rest for today and be in the Daytona 500 tomorrow.
Thanks, Dave. So his spotter let him know there was a guy looking at the middle. Under the red flag after 39 laps in the Hershey's Kissables 300.
The 2006 NBA All-Star Game is coming to TNT. T-minus 3, 2, 1, liftoff. The 2006 NBA All-Star Game, tomorrow at 8, only on TNT.
Hope you're enjoying the 20-plus hours of TNT's coverage from the NBA All-Star Weekend in Houston. We'll be up right after we complete the racing here at Daytona, then the All-Star Game tomorrow night on TNT. The red flag has been withdrawn. The field is rolling under caution. Here's the reason the caution, then the red came out.
Take a look at the yellow car up on top. It just drives down a little bit over Leffler in the 32 car, but there again, I'm not sure Leffler was in a great spot there anyway. And poor Carl Edwards, he's just the wrong place at the wrong time there as well.
So is Mr. Foyt.
Because here's what's going to happen to Anthony Foyt. He gets hit, turned, and he goes in the wall.
And Edwards comes to a stop in the grass. Carl looks forward to tomorrow's Daytona 500 after a spectacular 2005 season. Pit road will be open this time.
There'll probably be some guys coming in for tires, I would think.
How many tires did you say that they get today, Bill?
They had 5 sets, 1 on the car and 4 on the ground. So they've used 2, basically. The one they started the race with and the one they put on about 10 laps ago.
Nobody yet.
Looks like most of the front runners staying out. Some guys at the back of the field going to visit pit road. The B1 bomber in the air to get us started. Then the green flag for the NASCAR Busch Series here in 2006. A silent lap 3 is a tribute to Dale Earnhardt, but Ken Schrader lost a tire and went around coming out of 2. And fortunately, the guys behind him on their toes and on the wheel.
Don't quite understand how all that happened. How they missed him is beyond me.
There are not many single-car wrecks at Daytona. Lap 28, multi-car crash. Reed Sorensen was in it. Aaron Fike. Johnny Sauter.
And just recently we saw the crash between Paul Menard, the 11 yellow, and the Lucas car of Jason Leffler making contact. 60. Edwards, innocent victim, as was Anthony Foyt.
Now 41 laps are complete. Let's check with Matt Yoakum.
and the 33. Each caution, Tony Stewart really seems to make the most of it, pitting several times. He is just battling such a tight race car. They've tried adjusting the shocks twice, also pulling a spring rubber, significant wedge and track bar adjustments. The car just still way too tight, AB.
Eddie Pardue is crew chief in Greg Biffle today. Eddie, you and most of the rest of your fellow front runners did not pit here. How come?
Well, we've got 5 green flaps on our tires here. We're pretty good with our car. It's a little tight, but we need to stay up front to take care of that AmeriQuest Ford Fusion.
He had a big smile on his face when I asked him off camera. He said, we don't want to be back in the middle of that. Marty?
Alan, Casey Kane is your leader, but they had some chunking on the right front of their tire, a little wear spot. Trip Bruce, are you worried about that?
I don't think so. You know, we just let Casey know the information about it, and once he's aware of it, he can do things out there to help take care of it. So that's where we're at with this set right here. We're going to make another run, and I personally think they'll get better as the race goes on.
The one concern, though, guys, that wasn't really a full fuel run. So if they do have to go a full fuel run, we may see many more blister tires.
Exactly right, Marty. Love to see how that unfolds. Field still under caution here at Daytona. Need some sheet metal to work on some of these cars early in the Hershey's Kissables 300. Field rolling. We'll get back to green flag racing shortly. You're watching NASCAR live on TNT.
Well, as the field still runs around the Daytona International Speedway behind the pace car, we'll be going, like Bill Weber said, back to green flag racing here in probably 2 or 3 laps or so as the field worked its way back into formation. What can we say? Well, Casey Kane obviously is still leading. Worth noting, Paul Tracy, the Canadian, has moved himself into 9th place. He avoided that accident, drove down to the low side, kept his nose clean, did a fine job avoiding the wreck of Carl Edwards and Paul Menard. And the Canadian's doing quite well. he could be a top 10 finisher. We'll just have to wait and see. Bit of a shame that Tony Stewart, the defending race champion, he's had his problems, but that crew will be, the Kevin Harvick crew will be sure to get that car back out there. And we haven't heard the last of Tony Stewart, I don't think. Let's see. Let's do a quick rundown. Casey Kane leads from Greg Biffle. Brian Vickers 3rd. Earnhardt is 5th, just behind John Andretti. Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Jeff Burton, Paul Tracy, Jason Leffler round out the top 10. Jason Leffler was kind of the villain in that scene. Not the first time that Jason's been involved in some controversy moves, but anyway, he's running in the top 10. He's got Clint Boyer behind him. Rookie Bernie Lamar's running 12th. David Reutemann, a quiet 13th place, but he's doing a fine job. Pole winner J.J. Yeley, well, he's dropped down just a little bit in that Joe Gibbs Chevrolet Monte Carlo. The number 18 car is currently running 14th ahead of Kenny Wallace and another rookie, Todd Cleaver, in 16th. As we're looking down NASCAR's live timing and scoring, we see that Jamie McMurray is running in 19th. Let's see who else. Mark McFarland, we haven't heard anything from him today in that 88 car, but he's got to be good because he's running for GR Motorsport. Translated, that's Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s team. There is DEI, the Dale Earnhardt Incorporated team, of course, of Paul Menard and Dale Earnhardt Jr. But then there's the JR team that's running Mark McFarland this year for the Rookie of the Year honors. He's just ahead of Kevin Harvick, who's down in 25th. What else can we say? Stedman Marlin, the son of Sterling Marlin, he's here today, but he's not showing too much as of yet. He's running in 24th, just ahead of the Roush rookie, Danny O'Quinn. John Wood, of course, he's a truck craftsman driver. He's running 26th, and so on and so on. So, in just a few more seconds, we'll be going back for, hopefully, the restart. We're working lap 44 of 120, so pit stops should be coming about, not this time like that one crew chief had said. They've just got a few laps on fresh tires. But I would venture to say that the next yellow flag period, we'll see the entire field come down, get new rubber. Anyway, we're going back to racing. Enjoy it. Motors TV, right here.
Looking back at some of the history of the NASCAR Busch Series. Wait a second. This doesn't look that old.
What in the world is this? Who is that?
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Person that's going to hit the wall extremely hard.
That was the 88 car a couple of years ago, driven by...
Oh! Now, why did you hit that guy, Wally?
He's in my way.
Now, what about this crash?
That was the one that hurt.
I think it did.
Yeah.
It looked like it did.
You haven't fully recovered from that, have you?
No, slight brain damage, Bill. Still there.
All right.
You hit hard here, don't you?
Yes, you do.
Fun moments with Wally Dallenbach.
Okay, cars forming up off turn 4 for the green flag restart. Elliott Sadler on the inside of the 90 car is a couple laps down.
Top 17 guys did not pit. And 4 cars have to go to the rear for not slowing down when they went down pit road when the caution came out. Getting ready to go back to green. 76 laps to go.
We still have 35 cars in the lead lap. Leader is Casey Kane in 9. Greg Biffle 16 is the second. We have the third spot being contested.
Yeah, Biffle's going down the low side. He's going to use Elliott Sadler to try to get past Casey Kane. Going to work. And there's some guys on the high side. Earnhardt Jr. to be one of them in the 8 car.
Getting the push from Kyle Busch in 5.
Boy, Jr.'s got to run there. He's just got no place to go with it right there. He's going to get Casey a little loose, maybe.
Let's hope not. It's not good when the leader spins out.
O'Quinn, Neuenberger, Keller, and Sorensen were the 4 drivers that had to restart at the rear of the field.
What was that about again? Going through the pits without reducing your speed?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, you can take the pit lane if there's a crash in front of you, but you just have to show that you're trying to slow down a little bit.
Casey Kane moved up in front of Dale Earnhardt Jr. and see if that 8 car will push him on by the 90, and 16 looks like it's going to work.
Alan, how about Earnhardt?
Earnhardt Jr. saying his car's pretty good, just needs to get up front with some track position, thinks he can do it, but it just hasn't worked out. Every time he's gotten himself in a position in line, the cautions come out or somebody's jumped out of line behind. You know, one of those things where he just hasn't had the pieces fall into play quite yet. Marty?
Now, in the meantime, Casey Kane trying to keep that 9 car up front. He said the car is extremely fast. He likes it on the bottom grooves. He can keep it down there, though. This track is getting very slick, guys, and there's a lot of tight race cars out here.
Paul Tracy is having an impressive run on that red and white number 34 car. Been trying to get to the NASCAR Busch Series for about 3 years. And Wally, when your dad used to run Indy cars, they had an air jack system built in for the pit stops, correct?
That's right.
Well, that's what Paul Tracy's used to. The only mistake he's made today when he pitted too close to the wall, lost a little bit of time. They told him next time, just give yourself more room, but he's having a fantastic day.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. to the front. And you can imagine how the fans here at Daytona feel about that.
Brent Boyer, the 2 car, followed by Jason Leffler in 32. That's Denny Hamlin in the 20. Winner of the Budweiser Shootout last Sunday.
Alan?
Yeah, just keep an eye on Clint Boyer in that, too. Remember the replays from his onboard camera, that big wreck, Bill, that he just missed?
Right.
They think they might have nicked something enough that they might have a fender rubbing on a tire. They're trying to watch for smoke, and Clint's trying to see if he can feel anything from behind the wheel. Looks good so far, though.
Sure does. Boyer very excited about this season. He's going to do double duty, both in the Busch Series and Nextel Cup, and wants to win the Busch Series championship.
Is he the guy that the piece hit the windshield?
I don't know.
I don't think that was his car.
No.
I think it was Boyer. I'm told Michael Walker was the guy that got tagged in the windshield.
Matt, what are you working on?
Well, Bill, Delana Harvick's other driver in the field, young Bernie Lamar. Impressive run last week in trying to gain experience running the ARCA race on Sunday. Finished 4th, having a very strong run today in the 12th position. Right now, the car just a tick on the tight side, just waiting on his friend. There he is, the 29, Kevin Harvick, as he squeezes through the middle. Bernie's probably just going to try to latch onto him. That was the game plan from the start. Try to either get with Harvick or Tony Stewart.
That is a great shot right there. That is from Harvick's view. In the middle, coming off the board, going through the tri-oval right now. This is where you got to be really careful when you're driving because your car wants to get loose right here.
Brian Vickers in 57, directly in front of Harvick. Oh, what's that load?
Where that came from?
I don't know.
That's a huge bug.
Jason Leffler in the 32, Casey Kane in the 9.
You see how much these cars are moving around, and that's just the way these cars are on a racetrack like this. Big and fast. They really move around the racetrack.
I think a lot of you fans have experienced going down the highway when you pull up behind the truck and all that turbulence comes off the truck.
34 cars around, up the wall, up the track to the wall. Paul Tracy. I was just talking about how well he was running.
But boy, that apron did some damage on the nose of that car.
Bring it right to pit road right now. We're going to change 4 tires. Pull the fenders out. We're going to change 4 tires. Doesn't look like we have a lot of damage. Bring it to pit road right now.
There's a car behind him that was involved as well.
He's got a lot of damage to that nose of that race car, so they're going to have to get that fixed in order to be even halfway competitive.
Sterling Marlin's son Stedman in the 95 car.
And was there a third car on the apron as well?
Yes, there's a white car sitting up there, Bill. Joe Nemechek.
He's going to need more than brakes now. Let's go back and take a look.
Let's see what happened here. Paul Tracy on the top. He just gets tagged by John Andretti.
Biffle just missed it.
Just got tagged in the left rear quarter panel. Doesn't take much when you're in the corners here at Daytona. You look at the fender wrong, you go sideways.
And John just touches Tracy in the left rear. Denny, that 4 car, Mark Green drove down on the apron.
And we still don't see what happened to Stedman Marlin and Joe.
Well, I think, well, I don't know. My guess is that Stedman backed off and Joe ran into him.
You've been here before, huh?
Somewhere back there.
Yeah, there is somebody hitting somebody back there. That's watching the back of the screen there. You see, is that Nemechek right there coming down the track?
He ran in the back of the 95 car up high. If you roll it back, I can show you where it all starts. All right, cars on pit road.
Marty. Well, Bill, the plan was for Jeff Burton, if everybody else came with him, they were going to take tires. They're going to take right side tires for Jeff Burton, and they're going to take 4 tires now because nobody came, and make several chassis adjustments. Still too tight, Matt.
A chassis adjustment for Kevin Harvick. Again, they topped him off of fuel and just fixed a little corner of the valence. He's already away the car. Still tight, but they are making huge headway, as well as J.J. Haley. He almost stalls it on his pit stop, leaving his box.
So the field pitting under caution with 51 laps complete. On board with Kenny Wallace moments ago when the caution came out.
This is going to be close, too.
Come on. Keep coming up top. Keep coming up top. Keep coming all the way, all the way, all the way. Yeah, that's good. Clear on the left.
Michael Waltrip.
Front of you all the way up. He's on the apron. He's on the apron. Coming back up on the track. You got to come down. You see where he is. He's in the middle. He's up. Now he's on the apron. Come on up. Come up. Come up. There you go. There you go. Nice job.
Spotters doing their job, trying to keep their driver out of trouble. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the race leader in the Hershey's Kissables 300.
Well, as we ride along with Kevin Harvick, working lap 52 of 120. Paul Tracy unfortunately got a little bit of a NASCAR tap there from John Andretti. Those two know each other very well. It'd be interesting to see if the TNT crews catch up with Paul Tracy to get his version of what happened to him. I'm sure Paul Tracy will have something interesting to say. He never minces his words. Unfortunately, that's what NASCAR racing is all about. It just happens to work that way. He got pushed around by the number 10 car of John Andretti, and unfortunately Joe Nemechek got collected in that accident with Stedman Marlin. But Paul Tracy, you've just gotten your baptism to NASCAR racing, NASCAR Busch style. Fortunately, that doesn't happen in open wheel racing, but this is NASCAR, and certainly taps from behind come often, and sometimes they can ruin your day. But anyway, Paul Tracy, I'm sure they'll get that car back out onto the racetrack and back into competition. He shouldn't be too bad. In fact, he's listed down in 30th, but Paul's had a strong run today. If that car's still running straight, if he doesn't have too much damage to the front end, he should most likely work his way back up into the top 20 at least. Anyway, we still have more than half the race to go. As I said, we're working lap 53 of 120, so still plenty of time to to catch up for Paul Tracy. Anyway, Dale Earnhardt Jr., big surprise. He's leading here today at Daytona. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has won this particular race 3 different times. Could be a 4th. Denny Hamlin's running 2nd. Fine run from him. We hadn't heard too much from the Gibbs Racing number 20 today. The winner of the Bud Shootout, Denny Hamlin. A lot of things looking good for him this year. If anyone caught the Bud Shootout last weekend, we saw a very emotional scene with his family, who basically mortgaged the farm to let Denny go racing, and Denny's now paying back the family with great success, both in NASCAR Nextel Cup and, of course, here in the Busch Series. But anyway, as we're about to go back to green flag racing, I'm going to send it back to Benny Parsons, Wally Dallenbach, and Bill Weber.
Hey, we're coming to the green, and the 21 car's pissed.
Tomorrow, the day every driver dreams about, a chance to win the Daytona 500. Our coverage begins with the Bank of America countdown to green at 1:30 Eastern Time on NBC. Never forget it, do you, BP?
Oh, no. Oh, no, not the Daytona 500. By far the greatest thing that ever happened to me in my racing career.
Field coming to get the green flag. Pace car will head for pit road. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the race leader. Coming around a complete lap 53 of 120 in the Hershey's Kissables 300.
Denny Hamlin in that second place, in that 20 car in second spot. Matt, you have something?
Well, BP, a lot of conversation back and forth whether to stay out like a lot of cars did, or pit like several others, including his teammate J.J. Yaley, but they felt like the track position was more important. The car, not bad, but still a little on the free side.
I didn't realize until last week when Hamlin won the Budweiser Shootout how close he and Junior have become. He came down here a couple of years ago and stayed with Junior and his coach. Didn't have a ride, just came down as a spectator at the invitation of Dale Earnhardt Jr.
I remember Junior talking about him a while back, about his ability and about how far he thought he could go in NASCAR racing. Check in with Dave.
Caught up with Joe Nemechek in the garage here. Now, Joe, your accident happened well behind the initial accident. What went on back there?
You know, everybody was in a big group. I finally got brakes back on my car, and we were going back to the front. The car was just a shame. I mean, this number 87 car, Denver Mattress Company came on board, and it was fast, but at first something come up off the track and broke the left front brake line early, so we didn't have brakes. I just had rear brakes. We finally got a right front brake, and we didn't quite have enough time to get the left front hooked up there. And, I mean, everybody just started checking up, and it was one of those accordion deals. It's just a shame we're out so early.
It's a double disappointment for Joe. One, it's Daytona. Secondly, they're trying to attract sponsorship for this car. They had to let half their staff go over the winter, and are just trying to make a few races to get somebody on the side panel so they can hire a few more back.
Thanks, Dave. Now watch the very top of the screen here.
Right there. Right there.
And it looked like there were a couple other cars in front of that. David Green got some front end damage from running into somebody there as well. And there's Paul Tracy. That's just a moment ago.
Yeah, you know, when you bust up the front of the car like he did, I'm sure that car is not handling very well. It doesn't have the downforce it needs, and probably went in the corner, pushed up the racetrack, got into the wall.
No downforce to help the car turn, so up the racetrack it goes.
He has been black flagged by NASCAR. Does not obviously have much experience in these cars, certainly not on this track, but has shown his talents before, and he knows that it's going to be a battle learning to drive these cars. So Tracy goes to pit road. We go to the front of the field. Earnhardt Jr.
Here's a challenge. And I thought Hamlin was going to look on the inside. Here is a challenge by the 5 car of Kyle Busch.
These are cars that did not pit, Alan.
Kyle Busch told me before the race, Bill, to look for he and his Hendrick Motorsports teammate Brian Vickers to work together. The 5 and 57 cars. They're now together near the front of the field. Kyle just came on the radio and said, together we're fast. Watch to see if they can draft up to the front. Marty?
Alan, look out for Casey Kane, who said his car is extremely fast. He said, I know one thing is for sure. They're beating the heck out of my bumper, getting pushed up through the field right now.
That's a pretty tight line right there.
Man, is it ever.
Out of turn 2 and down the backstretch.
That outside line should pick up. Kyle Busch doesn't have much help down there on the bottom right now, the 5 car.
Some different race strategies playing out here. Top 13 cars did not pit under the last caution. We have seen some tire issues here today.
Boy, I'm hearing a lot of lifting off that throttle, BP.
I think Biffle was trying to figure out if the 5 car was going to come up the racetrack or if he could stick it in there. He decided wisely to back off and race.
That's experience.
Yes.
On board with Kyle Busch. That's Biffle. Harvick in the 29. Harvick will run 3 different numbers, 3 different races of this year. Got a very aggressive schedule in 2006.
Looks like a 3-wide move. Yep. Casey Kane to the bottom. Harvick goes with him. Jeff Burton goes with Harvick.
And Denny Hamlin gets left in the middle. Jeff Burton. About McMurray, Marty.
Well, for a guy who was bad-mouthing his car before this race started, McMurray's awfully fast, up in the 2nd position. And again, following his buddy Dale Earnhardt Jr., they worked awfully well together today. He said the car is still a little bit tight, and the last adjustment did not help as much as he thought it would, so they planned further adjustments to loosen up that 64 car.
Charlie Sauter has returned to the race. He scored 30 laps down. Trying to get as many points as possible.
Goes Hamlin to the bottom to make it 3 wide. Puts Burton back a spot or 2. J.J. Yeley in the 18 is going to try to close that gap.
There's McMurray stuck in the middle. Burton's going to try and come up and help him. Completed past the halfway mark here in the Hershey's Kissables 300.
Trying to get to the bottom, McMurray is. He didn't want to be in the middle for very long.
Of Jeff Burton might be pushing some water.
Is that the car that on board a moment ago that down in the corner we saw the big spot of water?
That was Harvick.
That is a bump draft. Junior sounded like he's getting out of the throttle a little bit too, BP. I think, you know, this track is so hot and greasy.
And look what happens when he backed off the throttle just a little bit. They just drove by him. Oh, I'm sorry, he's up front still. Who's that we're all with?
That was Harvick.
Yeah. Okay.
Harvick is the Hershey's Kissables, and Earnhardt is the Oreos.
Okay. All right, here comes that 9 of Casey Kane on the outside. He is fast.
Got a run. Got a good run right now.
Look at that 8 car all by itself.
Ooh, Biffle popping the bumper.
Kane moves down in front of Earnhardt. McMurray in the 64, Biffle in the high groove.
Biffle's up there.
He is up there. When you said high groove, you are not exaggerating, Bill.
No man's land up there, isn't it?
It is. Remember, I thought that the 9 car was going to lead that lap, but Biffle comes back.
You like the aerodynamic package on these cars, don't you, Benny?
Oh, I love it because these guys can pass much more easily than can the Cup cars, especially for the lead. They can, and the Cup cars can pass back in the pack, but for the lead, it's a struggle.
This field has also managed to spread itself out significantly. Biffle leads, Kane second, McMurray third in the 64, Earnhardt Jr. in the 8.
And McMurray just drives down to get in front of that 8 car and hope he can get the push from him that he needs to go to the front.
Looking back off Biffle's bumper. We talked about how some of these guys at the front of the field did not pit last time. Earnhardt was one of them. He last pitted on lap 33. That's 30 laps ago. Once again this year, we will take you through the field to find out how your favorite driver is doing. Of course, at Daytona and Talladega, it's more like around the field as often as they swap spots. Let's start with Alan.
And the leader, Greg Biffle, Bill, who was where he told me before the race he wanted to be all day out in front. Why? Very simple. Less trouble there. Marty?
Casey Kane is where he wants to be. Actually, he's not where he wants to be. He'd rather be in that bottom group. That's where his car seems to work better. They were guessing about the weather this afternoon, worried they didn't hit the setup right. Obviously, they did. Jamie McMurray is underneath him in that black 64 car, going some places. Wants some more air pressure adjustments to try and get that car better. That is Jeff Burton in the middle. Just swung up to the high side. Remember, he pitted back on lap 52 with 4 new tires. He has moved his way to the front. The car now loose. Remember earlier he said, you can't loosen me up enough. Now he's too loose. Alan?
Well, not much on Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s radio about his car, just the non-stop chatter of spotter Joey Meyer high atop the grandstand, telling Jr. 2 wide, 3 wide, which line is moving, trying to help keep his driver out of trouble. Solid run for Brian Vickers in this 57 car. He started the day in 26th position. He's moved his way up into the top 10, knocking around for these top 5 spots now. He and his teammate Kyle Busch still trying to draft together, Matt.
Kevin Harvick having a great run, running 6th on the inside line. Now, they've been working on that tight condition, trying to slowly work it out. They take advantage every pit stop. He's trying to get into victory lane. He's never finished out in the top 10 in the Busch car here at Daytona. And the 18R pole sitter, J.J. Yaley, he is working the bottom. He's got his teammate, Denny Hamlin, who is behind. Hamlin needs to work the outside line. J.J. works better on the bottom.
Well, Kyle Busch just came on the radio, and he was trying to encourage his teammate, Brian Vickers, to draft in a certain spot on the racetrack. When Vickers moves away from the line that Kyle wants, the airflow over that 5 car makes Kyle's front end loose grip. Matt?
The red 33, the defending winner of this event, Tony Stewart, now back up on the high side. Major work in progress this entire race. His crew chief, Wally Rogers, they have done everything. Wedge, track bar, air pressure, significant adjustments, even changing a shock. And if they get a caution, Marty, the next up they're going to change the right front shock. Still tight.
Matt, Reed Sorensen flirting with the top 10. Yes, the same Reed Sorensen we saw sliding backwards across the racetrack earlier. The same one who had to make an unscheduled stop early in the race. He has fought his way back up to the 13th position. The car very fast, reported to the crew during this run. Best it's been all day long, guys. Dave?
John Andretti in and out of the top 10 seemingly every lap right now, running back in the 13th position. John caused that last wreck by tapping Paul Tracy. They thought about coming in to fix right front damage, and J.J. Yaley seems to have the problem, guys, a pole sitter.
Off the pace on the front stretch. Now crawling into turn 1.
I see some smoke, but it looks like a tire situation as much as it does engine. I'm not sure.
Matt?
And the 18, J.J. Yaley, says he thinks the left front tire is down. Jason Ratcliffe, you can see him on the screen, yelling at the guys up on the wall, get ready for our driver. Now they just have to sit and wait. The biggest thing he has to do now is to take it slow so that that tire does not come apart, rip apart that left front fender and ruin the aerodynamics of that Chevrolet.
Yeah, man, it's unfortunately where it happened, though. They got a long wait anyway. He's going to go down 2 or 3 laps if they don't throw the caution, because he did it the worst possible spot. He's already went past pit entrance, so he's got to come all the way around the racetrack as the field's coming out of turn 2 right now.
No caution flag. So Yaley with the slow ride back to pit road.
And there shouldn't be a caution flag because he did get out of the groove. The tire hasn't come apart. There's no rubber on the racetrack, so let him race.
Well, when we're going through the field, it looked like Loeffler got awfully close to the wall, too, in that 32 car.
I think he actually hit the wall. Yeah, he got close enough to hit it.
Off turn 2 a moment ago?
Yes.
If he didn't, he missed it. Good, awfully good chance.
Lost a couple of spots, but got him back. Now runs 13th.
There he is on the high side above the 5 car and just gets into it. Not too bad, though.
Matt?
Bill, our pole sitter, slowly comes to a stop in his pit box. They are going to change left side tires only. They've lost so much time on the racetrack. He hits the lugs. They don't want to lose anymore, so only a two-tire stop for Yaley. Tough break. Let's go back up front.
Jamie McMurray under Greg Biffle for the lead with Earnhardt Jr. watching in the 8.
How about that? And who said he was complaining about his car? Talking about McMurray in that 64?
That was Marty that was throwing him under the bus.
That was I, VP. Hey, told me before, we're junk. We're not going to be any good today. This is you should believe race car drivers. Wally, you guys lie for a living more than you do drive race cars, don't you? But coaching him, that man right there, Rusty Wallace, he's on the radio. You can tell Rusty just hates not being in the race car here at Daytona. He's been coaching him on what to do with the chassis, how to drive his line. He's been helping him along. He's never been to victory lane at Daytona in a points-paying race. Would love to get there with his own race team, RWI, this afternoon.
Marty, you got your pit stop chart there handy?
I do indeed.
When was the last time the 64 was in? It was a while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was back on lap 30-something, Bill. I don't have the exact number written down. Yeah, 33, exactly right. I just now found it. Lap 33 was the last time they pitted, so they're doing this all with old tires. And remember, Jeff Burton back behind him has those fresh tires.
Thank you, sir. Well done.
Yeah, pretty impressive.
He's run quite a few laps, but most of these laps, a lot of laps have been under the caution flag, so he's probably getting up to about 30, 35 laps on green flag, and we know what happens at that point.
Looking for Clint Boyer.
Boyer's dropped back to 29th position. Hey, B, what's going on with Clint?
Yeah, you got to look a long ways back to find him right now, Wally. When the car gets into a position where we can show the very front end of the car, what we and the team are both looking for as this car comes by at 190 miles an hour is a hole in that front nose piece of the car. The aerodynamics on these cars are so sensitive. When he came so close to that wreck a little while ago, they're wondering if it didn't punch a hole in that sensitive front aerodynamic piece that's causing the car to just slide up the racetrack in the corners instead of turn like he needs it to.
I don't see anything from here, Alan, but
a rub or something.
All right, well, the 66 car in front of him is not going to have much water left in a hurry because he's pushing it out all over the windshield of Clint Boyer.
That's Schrader in the 66. Schrader is 21 laps down.
At the front of the car, you know, by where we were sitting, looked fairly clean.
And Schrader's finally figured out it's going to blow up, or he did already. He's off the pace.
So a tough day for Schrader. There's a good look at the front of the 2.
Don't see a thing.
They watching down there, Alan?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I don't see anything that would cause a huge aero push.
He's 29th.
Checking to see if Schrader put down any debris up in turn 3 as he dropped down.
Earnhardt Jr. coming back to the lead under McMurray. Biffle behind him.
J.J. Yeley would go, what, a couple laps down?
He's already 2.
That would be 3 down if he gets by him?
Yes. Again, Earnhardt, Biffle, McMurray among the cars that did not pit on lap 51. Now, this is just a moment ago. Kyle Busch in the middle. Ruderman in the 12. Hamlin in the 20. Whoa.
Wow. That is an unbelievable job by Kyle Busch not to crash.
That's a good save.
Yeah.
Very good save. Obviously drifted up the racetrack thinking he had room, which he did not.
Maybe. That may not have been a voluntary drift up the racetrack, Bill. The car very tight, meaning the front end won't turn in the corner. Kyle's really wanting a caution now. He just doesn't want to be the caution.
He almost was. Dave?
And that right front damage to John Andretti's car made the car just not want to turn. The caution comes out. This is what they wanted, because now they can pit and not lose all the track position that they were going to.
I think he's hit the wall, hasn't he?
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks like he hit the wall or blew a right front tire.
The caution is for debris in turn 2.
I would say so.
And it probably came from right there.
Yeah, that would.
Hey, guys, obviously John wanted to pit. He was going to come in on this lap and come down to pit road. So there's your ironic turn right there. He wanted to pit. He knew that the right front had been punished in his own word and that he needed to pit with it.
Okay, we've got this, the long distance view, I believe. Right in the middle of that. There he goes.
Definitely. EP, why can't we get these tires to last?
I don't know. I don't understand that. 30, 35 laps and the right front tire just goes away on these cars. I don't understand it.
And this tire is a little different than the one they had last year because they're trying to solve that problem.
They had the same problem last year, and they came with a different tire, and nothing's changed.
This is a huge break, timing this caution for Earnhardt, McMurray, Biffle, the guys that did not stop back on lap 51.
I mean, it's only, you're sitting there looking at the scoreboard going, okay, well, somebody's going to blow a tire here. Yeah. You know, we're going to get a caution here any lap now. You just hope it's not you.
And they've done enough damage to the 10 car. They've got to take it behind the wall to, if they're going to do any more work, get it back there.
It's unusual to see those rookie stripes on the back of John Andretti's car. Just his second start in the Busch Series. But plans to run for the championship in 2006. You can see the debris on the track and the track crew personnel out there trying to clean it up after the field goes by. Earnhardt, McMurray, Biffle, Tony Stewart, Reed Sorensen in the top 5. Then Jeff Burton, Casey Kane, Ashton Lewis Jr. has worked his way to 8th. Michael Waltrip is 9th, and Denny Hamlin runs in the 10th position. 76 of the 120 laps are complete. Elliott Sadler is the lucky dog.
Well, I would say that, you know, with 50 laps to go or so, 45 laps to go, all the cars can make it from here on fuel. Doesn't matter.
Fuel.
But it doesn't matter. They can't make it on tire.
Exactly.
But Earnhardt has run.
No, but what he's saying is somebody's going to bring out a caution.
Oh, somebody's
matter.
Okay.
You know, he's not going to go green for 50 laps.
So Earnhardt Jr. will lead the field down pit road. And that will be a busy place. Dave, you ready?
I am, Weber, and Michael Waltrip is ready to make that car turn a little bit better to preserve that right front tire. So they're going to put a little extra air pressure into the right rear, take a little extra air pressure out of the left rear, and that will make the car a little bit looser. Also a track bar adjustment. Matt?
In the triples, Tony Stewart, the red 33. The car's still tight. Wally Rogers continues to try to free it up. Significant air pressure adjustment, Marty.
Jamie McMurray's in the middle of that screen running second. Remember their last stop, they left the lug nut loose. He wants half pound on the left side tires. Told him a quick stop. AD?
Dale Earnhardt Jr. said the car's tight, the car's loose. I don't know what to tell you to do. Just put 4 tires on it and we'll go from there. So that's what they did.
And Junior heads off of pit road. All the lead lap cars coming down. We'll sort out the running order, and then we'll go back to green flag racing. Dale Earnhardt Jr. scored as the leader after 77 laps. The Daytona 500 comes up tomorrow. You'll see it live on NBC. If you miss it, TNT has the encore Monday, 2 a.m.
What? 2 a.m.?
Yeah.
I won't be up. But somebody might be. I hope they are and will enjoy the Daytona 500.
Let's check in with Alan.
Tony Eury Sr. has just watched his car leave pit road after another good stop, talking to Mike Ricci. Tony, pretty good looking race for your car so far today. What's Junior saying?
Yeah, he's real happy with the car. He's was a little bit free right there at the end of that first run, and we were going to free it up. He said he was tight to start with, got a little free at the run, so we didn't really do a whole lot to it. We messed with the air pressure a little bit, try to make it a little better for him. But car runs real good out front, and you know that's what we came here to do, run out front. We kind of geared the car to run out front, and was expecting to qualify a little better than we did. So it was a little bit hard to get up there to start with because the car really wasn't set to start that far back. But we got up there, the car's real good, and you know, DEI guys there in the engine shop did a great job. Fab shop, everybody else worked real hard on this car, and we got a bunch of guys here we just threw together to try to do our 2007 car test next year in the car tomorrow. And we got a group of guys here together to do that and to run the Busch races, and haven't worked together a whole lot. And and looks like they've done a great job on this car here. So congratulations to all those guys. They're working good together, and hopefully we'll get to do it again.
Maybe they get to hold the trophy at the end of the day, too. By the way, the tires off this car look terrific. Marty?
Alan Rusty Wallace wants to hold the trophy at the end of the day. Are you doing more watching or worrying today?
I'm doing a little bit of both. I'm doing a little watching and worrying. I'm having a great time. Jamie's really excited about the car. He says it's making big horsepower, and the car's driving great. So I told him, I said, just bring it home. You're making us all look like heroes right now.
You're coaching a lot on the radio too, Rusty.
No, Brian's just doing a great job. I just love the chatter, and the pit crew is ultra fast. Stuff looks great. We've got a whole renewed effort this year. We're really excited what we're doing for Top Flight, all our sponsors, Dodge. So it was a tough one last year. You know, we got spoiled the first year. We come right out of the box, run a partial schedule, won. Right off the bat, won Darlington, second at Homestead. Got our butt kicked in last year. But this year it's a little better right now.
I know you want to win at Daytona too, Rusty.
Well, I want it for the team, you know. I really do. I want it for the team. We got a great organization here, a lot of concentrated effort. A lot of damn money, too, buddy. Yeah, I'll tell you what, we put a lot of money in this thing.
I know that. And how hard will it be tomorrow to have to watch the Daytona 500 without you in the field?
It'll be a little tough, but I'm real busy tomorrow doing television in the morning and after the race. And then I'm going to watch the 500 from somewhere. Don't know where I'm going to do that at yet.
Hide, right?
No, I'm not going to hide. I want to see it. I want to see my first Daytona 500 ever. I've never seen one of them before, except behind the wheel.
Yeah. All right, good stuff. Good luck the rest of the day, too.
Thanks a lot, man.
Hey, has that sponsorship helped your golf game and all yet?
Oh, yeah, we're looking okay. We got a lot of problems, and beer and golf balls in one of them.
Hey, Weber has the same issue. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Very nice, Marty. Good shot.
Close Marty's mic until July. I don't have a follow, sorry.
That was a good shot.
Yeah. Let's go back to racing now. Earnhardt Jr. leads the field to the green flag. Restart with 40 to go.
Green flag is out.
J.J. Yalian 18 after that flat left run he had. He is still one lap down to the leader, Earnhardt Jr.
Paul Menard and David Green have returned to the track. Menard 39 laps down, Green 35 laps down. Both were involved in crashes earlier in the race. Well, as good as Earnhardt was on old tires, it'll be very interesting to see how he is on new tires. McMurray driving for Rusty Wallace in that 64 car.
McMurray's car seems like it's better longer into the run. To keep an eye on that. Casey Kane's car looks real good on the early part of the runs, you know, on tires.
You try a bunch of stuff out as the race goes along, so you know exactly what you want at the end, correct? Where you want to be.
Correct. Yep. Marty?
Hey, Wally, I'm glad you said Marty, because I don't think Weber would let me open my mic anymore. But, Wally, you're exactly right. Jamie McMurray, the longer they run, remember they lost all that track position after their first pit stop. They had to work their way back up through the field. Casey Kane, the longer he runs, he gets worried about those tires. The car extremely tight for Casey. They did have some blistering also in this last right front they took off. So the longer Kane runs, the worse the car gets. The longer McMurray runs, the better he gets.
Comes Tony Stewart.
Yeah, I have to watch that. There's Stewart in the fourth spot.
And I tell you what, they've worked on that car all day. It looks like they finally have got the 33 raceable.
I believe they repainted that car too the last time they were in.
And he pitted on lap 51 and worked his way through all that traffic to get back to the front before the most recent caution came out. Stewart won this race 1 year ago. Jeff Burton in the high line in that 21 car behind him.
Board with Jeff Burton as Denny Hamlin closes up and gives him a bit of a shot down the backstretch. And as Wally says, Wally wisely backs off, lets him go in the corner.
Kind of form an outside line over there.
It just won't go.
Yeah, it's been tough today.
It's been tough since we got here.
Yeah, yes, it really has.
Tony Stewart has moved in the third spot.
10 or 12 cars lined up on the outside right now. Oh, Jeff Burton's got problems. He's down on the bottom, losing positions.
21 car, the pole sitter for the Daytona 500 tomorrow. Jeff Burton off the pace here in the Busch race.
What do you want me to do here?
Probably.
Bring down pit road, let us at least pop the hood on it. Look underneath here. What's your gauge?
Sounds like an engine situation.
Fix the beat itself up, I think. Just shut it off. Pull it through the gate. You want to guide him to what gate, Rocky?
So Jeff Burton's day apparently done. And he will coast back to pit road. Earnhardt Jr., they think about going 3 wide behind him. That's Kyle Busch tucked up under Tony Stewart. And Kyle Busch was one of the drivers Tony was pointing a finger at a week ago after the Busch shootout. Some impressive driving. Alan?
Yeah, Kyle Busch, remember, just before that caution, was hoping for a caution to make some adjustments and get some fresh tires on that car. Air pressure adjustments. They also made a little fender tug, if you will, a track bar adjustment. Now trying to get a few laps on the tires so Kyle can feel out how those changes have impacted his car for the closing laps of the race.
Marty? Alan, we talked about Casey Kane and how tight his car is, and he voiced some concerns about that right front the longer they ran on that last run. 1.5 rounds of wedge out of the left rear, trying to loosen that car up. Casey's very fast in the beginning of the run, and especially fast on that bottom line.
Casey normally likes the high line.
And now we got Stewart in second place, Earnhardt first. That's trouble for everybody else.
The unofficial teammates.
That's right.
Well, I think McMurray has got a very fast car. I think if Kyle Busch works with McMurray, they may have something for him.
Earnhardt and Stewart have worked together numerous times in plate races as partners, like Benny talked about. Beginning of the race, Benny talked about how there were 18 drivers in today's race that will compete in the Daytona 500 tomorrow, coming over from the Nextel Cup garage. And historically, it's been a Nextel Cup Series regular that has won this race, and they're dominating here again this afternoon.
First 10 are Cup drivers. David Rudiman is now moved into the 10th spot. He is the first non-Cup driver.
Marty, you working on the Burton situation?
Well, Billy made it to pit road. They're going to push him back to the garage now. They think it is a valve spring issue, and they're going to see if they can patch it up back in the garage. But obviously, with time running out in the race, most likely they will not be back in today's event.
Oh. Now, it looked like McMurray got a little bit looser. Had to check up just a little. That let Bickle get right on his tail. McMurray almost had the pass pulled off on Tony Stewart there about a lap ago, but just didn't have quite the momentum to clear him.
Now McMurray and Biffle out of line. Biffle goes by, and Kyle Busch to help.
This is really getting to the point where you really start looking in the mirror, really start mirror driving. If you see a guy coming up that's got to run, you want to pull out in front of him and have him push you past a bunch of cars. So you're looking out the mirror right now as much as you are the windshield.
And I think Biffle wanted to move up on the outside. He couldn't do it, and McMurray goes back by the 16 car.
Murray in third behind Earnhardt Jr. and Stewart.
And Reed Sorensen has moved up to the 5th position.
At 41 car is Sorensen. 5th in line there.
And Kyle Busch got shuffled back on that deal in the 5 car.
It's the 57 of Brian Vickers. And there's Busch behind him. Teresa Earnhardt. Watching her teams and her drivers perform at Daytona. Caution flag is out at Daytona. Debris in turn 3.
All right, BP, now if you come in, you got 31 laps to go. Do you just throw your tires on and hold your breath?
If you have any left, now's the time to do it. if you have any left. Alan, they have tires down there? You might wake up, Alan.
I think he's probably checking. So under caution.
I saw a sign in there, Charles Miller, and Lowe's is a North Wilkesboro company. I went to school with a guy named Charles Miller. Don't know if that's him or not.
How far did you make it in school?
School?
Yeah.
It's a long story.
I believe J.J. Yaley is the lucky dog, isn't he? I think he's going to get back in the lead lap.
Pole sitter for today's race.
There is the debris.
Wow, was it ever?
That's a good thing to wave the flag for that piece.
Yes. And whoever saw that, good job.
Yes. Alan?
Charles Miller was the president of Busch's in the NASCAR Busch Series. He passed away last weekend.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you, Alan.
Alan, they got any tires down there?
Yeah, there's a big debate over whether to use them, BP. This is that old track position versus tires thing. They only got 10 laps of racing on this set of tires. How far back in line do you want to be? With how many laps to go? And, you know, the speed difference on new and used tires, if you get a caution another 15 laps from now, would you rather have the fresh tires then for the sprint to the finish? Or how do you want to play it? That's the big debate. Marty?
Well, Alan, I can tell you that Jamie McMurray is having no debate in his mind. He is definitely coming down pit road. He said the car is just not as good as it was before. So the 64 car, no matter what, is coming down pit road for 4 new tires.
It looked like his car wanted to hunt a little bit, and it was hard to tell if he was making it go that way or if the car was doing it on his own. Now it sounds like the car is a handful.
All right, here we go. Pit road is open. Who's going to come down pit road? Well, everyone but Junior. Everybody but Dale Earnhardt Jr. Oh my! He said his heart is just said, "Oh man, Dave Burns."
BP Michael Waltrip has tires. He said if everyone else is going to come in and put them on, we got to have new shoes too. They will paint for tires. No adjustments, Matt.
Major air pressure adjustment in the right rear for Tony Stewart. Wally Rogers was jumping up and down when he saw Junior stay out. They like the situation they're in now with fresh tires. Martin.
Matt, this should be interesting to see how these new tires play out. McMurray wants 4 of them. Pound in the right rear tire to loosen up the car just a little bit. Alan?
Kyle Busch going to fire 4 fresh tires in his Chevrolet. Make a wedge and track bar adjustment. See if that'll tune him up and let him keep up for the end of this race. Dale Earnhardt Jr. All right, we'll get Marty first. Go ahead, Marty.
Well, Alan, the 64 car of Jamie McMurray, his car fell off the jack. The left rear tire was not on completely. They had to get it back up, put the left rear on, and send him out. Alan?
Just the reaction on Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s team's radio when they looked and saw everyone else pit but them. Tony Eury Sr. said, well, we've been perfect all day until then.
So Dale Earnhardt Jr., all by himself, stays out with 29 laps to go at Daytona.
Take the green flag, you'll have 27 laps. I don't know how your car failed, but you were real fast on. You were fast on the bottom. You saw it though.
For everybody, real tight. Hopefully, got it good.
The Hershey's Kissables 300 live from Daytona International Speedway. Brought to you by new Hershey's Kissables chocolates. Candy-coated mini kisses brand chocolates that are delicious, shareable, adorable, and colorful. By Pizza Hut, home of the new Cheesy Bites Pizza. Gather around the good stuff. By Valvoline Motor Oil, the #1 choice of top mechanics everywhere. And by Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. Busch, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Busch Series, 25 years running.
Field getting the green. Restart. With 27 laps to go, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Todd Cleaver, McFarland, Neuenberger, Sauter did not stop. They're the top 5 cars, but look at Junior pull away.
Well, he has a nice buffer between himself and the fast cars, but you know, Cleaver and McFarland.
Wreck behind you.
Oh, we got trouble.
Oh, hard hit. Casey Kane.
He gets it another time. Brian Vickers, 57 involved.
7th caution of the race. And that ties the record for this race.
Oh! Somebody caught him in the rear and just turned him head on in the wall, looks like. Greg Biffle, 16.
Let's go through the replays.
Well, that was Vickers in the 57, but I don't know what caused that.
Probably have to back it up just a little bit. Let's see.
They got bottled up there.
Yeah.
Tony Stewart.
Biffle.
Looks like Biffle got the back of 57, yes.
Casey Kane has reported on the radio he's okay. Got hit once and then twice.
That's the 35 car of Regan Smith.
Oh, man, he just got clipped, Casey Kane. Just barely. Just enough.
Now on board with Greg Biffle.
Wow. Oh, he jacked the back of that.
Check up, go to the bottom, go to the bottom.
Yeah, that's what happens when you pull the rear tires off the racetrack on a car in front of you. He usually loses traction.
On board the Hershey's Kissables ride.
Spin in front of you, go low. They're coming down. Go in the middle.
Go on the grass.
It's coming down there. Okay, keep going there. You got that one car to your outside.
Michael Waltrip.
Have you all the way down? You clear all the way down. Clear up. In the middle.
And that was a nice job.
Go up, gas to go. Good job.
All set. The 9 of Kane, the 16 of Biffle. Heavily damaged. To the garage for Biffle. They'll need some help getting the 9 car off the track. Think there's any chance that Junior would consider pitting?
Not now. Not after seeing that.
Because he's in front of it where you want to be, right?
Yes.
Where he'll want to be tomorrow, too.
Plus, every one of these laps under caution is just another easy lap on his tires.
You get an accordion or a domino effect.
See, here's what happened in that deal, I think. We had some cars that stayed out that were not as fast as Vickers and Biffle and all those fast cars. And when they got down the corner, they were just going slower than they anticipated. And as you said, Bill, that accordion effect took over, and bam, about 6th or 7th car back.
It always happens.
Yeah.
I mean, every time this situation when you got some fast cars behind slower cars in the field all day, it just, guys get jammed up.
And you saw how quickly Earnhardt was able to get away. But as Benny talked about, just 2 or 3 cars back, the rest of the field couldn't hang on to him.
Yeah.
Those were the guys that stayed out. Marty?
Well, in that melee, Jamie McMurray said he slid his tires just a little bit to think that they may not be good enough to race on late in this run. So just to be precautionary, came down pit road, took on 4 brand new tires, and he said that the car's going to be fast, but he's got a lot of ground to make up now. Alan?
Well, here's what Tony Eury Sr. was thinking. Besides that the pit strategy didn't work out the way that they hoped it would, they were expecting some more people would stay out. Their car has been better out front. They wanted to make sure they stayed out front, didn't get back in the traffic for something like that to happen on a late restart. They've got a fresh set of tires in their pits. Everyone else, if we get another caution and people choose to come to pit road, they've got to put on used tires that have at least a couple of laps of qualifying practice on them. The other thing is that Tony says their car's driving so well, and the downforce on this car is so great with this rules package, that strip across the roof and so on, that the car won't slide around as much on the older tires as it might, say, tomorrow in the next L Cup Series race. He said, sure, we would have liked to been on equal tires with everyone, but I'm really not all that worried about it as long as we're out front.
Being out front there was the right place to be, Alan.
Good move.
So that might
lucky move.
That might not have been the strategy they had in mind, but it sure worked out for them. Now, when you come to Daytona, everybody talks about the big one, the big wreck. That wasn't a huge one, but you normally see it when you put this many cars in these tight packs. It's the Nextel Cup Series. 1 year ago.
And that, folks, is the big one.
And you can see it doesn't take much. Scott Wimmer, watch Wimmer here. The 22 car. Biffle. And a lot of times, it's not one mistake. It's guys going for the same position, similar to what we saw coming off of turn 4 here a little earlier today.
Yeah, you only have so much room to work with. Your cars are sliding around, especially if it's hot as it is today. Tomorrow, the racetrack is going to be a handful for these drivers, and you just gotta give and take a lot in this race until the end. The last 15 or 20 laps, forget it. It's going to be real exciting.
So we continue to work the field under caution here in the Hershey Kissables 300 at Daytona. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the race leader with just 24 laps to go.
Well, as we saw, we had a bit of a wild one there up at the front with Greg Biffle, Brian Vickers, and Casey Kane all getting collected in that accident. Damage for those guys. They were looking for strong runs today. They were looking good for a top 5 finish. But as it turns out, Dale Earnhardt Jr., no surprise to anyone, he's still in the lead. He was just out in front, was able to avoid all that nonsense behind him. And now he's looking probably for a yellow just to keep those tires nice and fresh and try to hold on all the way to the end. And interesting enough, he has 2 rookies behind him. Todd Clever from Roush Racing and Mark McFarland, his employee, is running 3rd. They've kind of been discreet today. They've kept out of the mess. They've kept out of the front pack. And now, as we only have 22 laps to go, these 2 rookies find themselves in the top 3. So it could be a very interesting finish because they've also got Tim Sauter, Tracy Hines behind them, rounding out the top 5. But then, from 6th place back, we've got Tony Stewart, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Michael Waltrip, Kevin Harvick, Reed Sorensen, all ready to climb all over these young guys and teach them a lesson about how to get around Daytona International Speedway really, really fast when the chips are down, when we're down in the last 20 laps of the race. So we're getting set here for hopefully the final run of the day. And be sure to be with Motors TV next weekend because we'll be back with more live stock car racing, the NASCAR Busch Series Round 2 from Fontana, California, the Fontana Speedway. Will be coming on air from about midnight 30 in Europe and 11:30 in the UK. So please stay up late with Motors TV next Saturday night for more NASCAR Busch Series action live right here on the high-speed television network that is Motors TV. And if you've got any tidbits you want to share with us on the internet, please drop a line on 3wsmotorstv.com.uk, whatever it happens to be where you are, and drop us a line. We'd like to hear from you. So anyway, we're about to get set to go back to TNT and their coverage of opening round of the NASCAR Busch Series, the Hershey's Kissables 300. Enjoy the end of the race.
When you come to Daytona, you have to make sure of one thing.
You have the proper parking pass.
Otherwise, you will be towed.
I hope that wasn't Casey Kane's ride to the...
No, you know, are you parked properly, DP?
I don't have a look lately.
Okay. We'll keep an eye on it.
You haven't seen your car on the hook yet, but they're looking.
Be sure to catch the drama of the NBA All-Star Weekend on TNT. Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern, it's the 55th NBA All-Star Game from Houston. East meets West in a big night of basketball right here on TNT. And more coverage from Houston coming up right after the race. Earnhardt Jr. leads the field to the green flag, and watch those guys behind him. Cleaver, McFarland, Sauter, Hines.
Looks like Tracy Hines is having trouble keeping up with that lead pack. Tracy in the 14.
Those cars did not pit a caution ago when the rest of the field did. Earnhardt Jr. electing to stay out and the 4 cars behind him.
But this is good for Junior. He's got a lot of these guys in between him and the fast guys coming up like Stewart and Hamlin and Busch. So this is going to buy him a little bit of time anyway.
Todd Cleveland, the 06 car. A bestest rookie this year, driving for Jack Roush. Entire 2006 Busch Series.
Stewart's coming pretty fast. I don't know how much time it's going to buy him. Maybe a lap.
We watch and check with Dave.
First, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's a good thing. It's, you know, I'll tell you, I guess the NASCAR meetings haven't been enough for some people. You know, it's a real shame because they ride a Chevy. Monte Carlo SS was good all day. We didn't have quite the right gear. We had a 33 gear, and that kind of cost us from taking the lead a little bit. We were up against the chip. We were really up against the chip when Busch off the ground going, I have no idea what he was thinking. That was probably one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. I don't know what to say. I guess I hope I can't find him.
That's a very gracious way to put it. I asked Brian if he wanted to see a video replay. He said, don't need to.
Well, I thought that the cars were slow to front, but obviously that's not the case.
Caution, debris in turn 2. Between turns 1 and 2.
One of these cars is losing pieces out there.
What was Tony doing with Earnhardt Jr.? Was he playing with him, or was he making him think?
I think he was trying to get a run and get beside him.
Sure didn't take him long to get around those cars that didn't stop, though.
Nope.
Under caution, Dave?
Well, Casey Kane, we might have been a little bit more concerned about just because he took a much harder hit into the wall out there. They let you go, so I assume you're okay.
Yeah, I'm fine. It's nice to have good safety equipment, that's for sure, and we definitely have that at Evernet Motorsports. But our Dodge Charger, Ragu Dodge, was awesome. You know, it was a lot of fun. The Evernham engines ran great, and I was having a blast out there. And then you just have, I rode with Brian Vickers in the ambulance, so his story is Biffle caused that whole thing, and it sounds pretty obvious that that's what happened. So just a bonehead move by Biffle, but other than that, it was a lot of fun.
Well, we're glad you're okay. He will not be rejoining the race today, but of course he'll be in the Daytona 500 tomorrow, thankfully, because he's okay.
There's some debris, bringing out the 8th caution.
Somebody's going to be real light after this race, BP.
Man.
Allen.
Oh, just some wonderful radio traffic from Joey Meyer, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s spotter, down to that race car, the number 8. He said, Joey Meyer, the spotter, said, I've got a message from Tony Stewart if you want it. Junior said, go ahead. Tony said, we can race if you want to race, or we can block if you want to block. How do you want it to go tomorrow? And that's exactly how Junior responded. He keyed the radio and said, oh, that's great. So we'll see. Matt?
Actually, the transmission from the 33 car to his spotter, which was supposed to be passed along, Alan, was, I'll run with him. I won't hang him out, but he better not hang me out tomorrow. I'll clean it up like that.
Tony Stewart starts 20th tomorrow. Dale Earnhardt Jr. rolls off 7th.
Lights are out. The pace car. Pass to Grey Poupon, please.
Yeah. You guys look like you're having fun.
They are having fun.
Yep. They are. And, you know, they might even get a trophy.
Yes, they might.
And some money.
Earnhardt Jr. the leader. Stewart restarts 2nd. And it's Hamlin, Waltrip, McFarlane, and Cleaver. Kyle Busch, Harvick, Sorensen, and Boyer. Alan, more?
Yeah, I was talking to Tony Eury Sr. before the race, Bill, about Dale Earnhardt Jr., and he was talking about a winning streak that Tony Eury Sr. and Dale Earnhardt Sr. went on in this race, the February Busch Series race at Daytona. They won 5 straight. And over the past few years, Jr. had a streak going here at Daytona where they were trying to equal that 5 straight record of Busch Series wins at this track. They lost out. They weren't able to get one in a row. Jr. was very disappointed at not being able to equal that streak. Tony Eury Sr. said he looked at him, smiled, and said, just have to start another one.
And getting back to hearing from Casey Kane and those guys, it will be interesting to hear Biffle's version of what happened.
I hear that Danny O'Quinn in the 50 car wouldn't let the lucky dog go around, so they've told him, come to the trailer after the race and we'll explain to you, rookie, how things work.
That's the key word. Rookie. So he's got an appointment after the race. Junior hopes he has an appointment with Victory Lane. Watch the 8 of Dale Earnhardt Jr., the 33 of Tony Stewart.
Green flag.
18 to go. Denny Hamlin in the 20 runs third. Michael Waltrip has moved his way forward throughout the day, started 42nd. Allen.
Hey, you notice the two cars that are lined up behind Dale Earnhardt Jr. are teammates at Joe Gibbs Racing. It was just pointed out to Junior that Michael Waltrip is in that line, and you know how well those two have worked in the draft at Daytona before. That might be some needed help coming for Junior in the form of that 99 car.
Marty. And Alan, don't count out the rookie back there either in the 88 car, Mark McFarland. You know who his boss is? The man up front, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the last stop, just like their boss man, and they're going to stick with him wherever he goes.
I would say Denny Hamlin probably owes one to Tony Stewart. Uh-oh, we got trouble.
David Green. Boy, has he had a long day. He's 35 laps down. He just brought out the caution.
Is the yellow out yet?
I take that back. They did not put out the caution. So we stay under Green, Earnhardt and Stewart up front.
Busch on the outside trying to get someone to work with him. He can get back to the front.
Boy, Denny Hamlin lost a lot of spots.
I think the spotter probably said caution, and he probably backed up. And one car is Jason Keller. Haven't seen him today.
Hey, Dave, how about Waltrip?
He's running pretty well, Bill. There's only one thing he might be a little bit worried about. Early in the day, he said his car was perfect, just slow. Now, can he get the help from rookie Mark McFarland right behind him? Well, sometimes, Wally, if the rookie's got a great car, you have to use him, don't you?
Absolutely. If he's got a fast car, he's got to follow him or hopefully make some kind of a deal. But I think McFarland is going to be looking at whatever the 8 car is going to do. Dale Earnhardt Jr., not what Michael Waltrip wants to do.
I'll tell you what, this run by Michael Waltrip is very, very impressive. He started at the very back of the field, and here he is, flag almost.
I think Michael will jump out in front of either Boyer or one of those guys when they come up if they've got to run.
Michael in the 99, third behind Earnhardt and Stewart. It's Clint Boyer in the 2 up high.
Well, they fixed that 2 car, remember how slow he was about 30, 40 laps ago? Tony Stewart is trying to get Michael to go with him on the outside. Michael chooses the bottom. Oh.
Kyle Busch in the 5, 5th in that line.
And McFarland, the 88 car, Junior's car is getting shuffled to the back.
And that's because of why?
Rookie stripe.
Matt?
Bill, what an impressive run by number 77, Bernie Lamar. Bob Jeffrey is spotter. He's learned a lot during this race, which is what he said he was going to do. Use this as a training tool for later in the season at Talladega, and what an impressive run he's had so far.
Thanks, Matt Boyer, trying to make a charge up the inside.
It's starting to get wild.
Now here goes Tony Stewart for the lead. He has help from Michael Waltrip.
That high side has not been the place to be.
Let's see if Waltrip goes down to the bottom here or if he stays up high.
Earnhardt trying to take some air off of Stewart. Junior had that lap. It's the last one they're worried about.
Up high.
Oh,
Denny Hamlin coming back.
And we've got Jamie McMurray in the middle in that 64 car.
That's a guy I think they may have to worry about.
Murray's had a fast car most of the day.
McMurray a little bit loose. Marty, what do they say about 64? Because McMurray's flying.
He is flying. He's so fast. Oh, wow.
What was that?
McMurray is around into the grass. Stewart had the lead. Caution is out for sure this time.
Hold on.
That,
You okay?
to me, looked a little bit squirrely.
Looked suspect, didn't it?
It looked a little bit intentional to me.
Let's go back and look at it.
He slid up. There's the 5 car. There's the Jamie McMurray on the inside. Okay. Now, I can't tell if he got hooked.
Did someone run in the back of the 5?
That's right. The 5 may have gotten hooked. Yep.
Yeah,
5 got hooked. Yep. You see Kyle Busch put his hand up, and you can see his hand up, and just as he put his hand up, the 20 ran into the back of him.
They were closing on the 99 so fast that Kyle had to back up.
You could see Kyle was waving that they were gaining on him a little bit too fast.
It's Kevin Harvick's ride.
Outside. Outside.
Definitely hooked him.
In front of you, see what you got. You're all good.
Car owner Rusty Wallace. The yellow headset.
Trying to figure it out himself. Well, he's still on the lead lap, but
got a long way to go and a short time to get there.
Exactly. Going to have about 10 laps to go.
Marty? Well, first of all, he gave no indication on the radio that he thought anything was intentional on Kyle Busch's behalf. There was some right front damage. There's also some left front fender or some skirt damage on the bottom of the valence. They need to fix that. They're talking about bringing Jamie back in, and he says there's a lot of smoke in the car. He is going to come back down pit road now. Alan?
Well, Kyle Busch is going to pit from 5th position. He got a piece of that accident. There is damage to the left rear. They're looking to make some cosmetic repairs with some of that old 200-mile-an-hour tape. If they need tires, they'll change the left side. Go for that. They want to get him back out there quickly as we're getting the restart next time.
That's right, Alan. The field has been shown the 1 to go signal. We'll get the green next time by. They work on the left side of Kyle Busch's car. Tony Stewart had gotten around Dale Earnhardt. The field is frozen when the caution comes out. So Stewart is the race leader. Then it's Earnhardt Jr., Clint Bowyer, Michael Waltrip, and Denny Hamlin. Kyle heads back onto the track.
Uh-oh.
Denny Hamlin in the 20 car from NASCAR to the tail end of the longest line of aggressive driving. NASCAR made it clear to the Nextel Cup drivers on Thursday they will watch for aggressive driving.
And there we see the red car, the 20. And they have warned them in the drivers' meeting, if they see something they feel like is aggressive, they are going to penalize them. The first example.
There are 6 additional officials watching the races here at Daytona this weekend.
All down to the bottom.
Watching for aggressive driving.
We'll get tires, right?
I don't think so. They're going to throw the green flag.
Yeah. There you see some of the NASCAR officials.
Aren't they going to throw the green?
They're supposed to.
Why would you come in for tires when they're throwing the green?
He's not gonna. He stays out. Now he's going to have to drop back. Hamlin lets the field go by. And Tony Stewart leads with 10 to go. Stewart won this race a year ago, and Kevin Harvick pushed him to victory. Allen.
Clint Bowyer sticking his nose out of line. They finally diagnosed the problem that made that 2-car slide so far back in line. Remember when he just missed the big wreck? He skidded the tires. He raced all that time with a flat spotted tire, which is why he was falling back. Dave?
Right behind him, the 99 car of Michael Waltrip says, I will stay with the 2. Tell them I will not leave his back. We'll see if that holds.
Well, we got... I'm sorry. Go ahead, Matt.
Wally, this aero package is much like the older days of NASCAR racing. We used to have the slingshot type moves. Wally Rogers sitting duck out front after we got that caution. AB?
Dale Earnhardt Jr. not terribly optimistic under that last caution in his radio transmissions, but I can tell by the nature of his driving since the restart, he's not given up.
Next 9 laps will be fun to watch.
Oh, yes. Oh, we got a car on the wall.
David Rudiman in the 12 car.
Caution flag is out.
And that would be number 10.
Sorry, Dave, that was my fault. I thought you was going to make it up there. Tire now.
There goes a piece of the rotor, it looked like.
That's what it looks like. I'll tell you what, if they don't red flag this, if that was rotor, they got so much debris back there, it's going to take 5 or 6 laps to get this cleaned up.
Already in the wall by the time we pick it up.
We heard him say that the right front tire blew.
So a tough run for David today. Trying to help this team out by driving here at Daytona this weekend.
No, we're done, dude. We're done. They killed it.
And he's going to need to call AAA.
Yep. There's the brake rotor you were talking about, Wally.
That a little warm?
Pretty hot. Very hot.
So the track cleanup crew at work.
I wonder where the other half is. Maybe still on the car.
And Rudiman sees his day come to an end. Give a call to Stacy Compton, who's worked his way up to 5th in that 59 car. Dave, you working with Stacy today?
Yep, and he has been lurking all day long. In fact, I talked with his crew chief, and he said, well, we've been hanging back all day. They've made basically no changes to the chassis, and now Stacy is back there. His strategy to the end, though, is fairly well set. He says, guys, I can only run that bottom line. I don't care what they do up in front of me. I got to hold this ground.
Watch for that.
There's the other half.
Run out there and get that, would you, Benny?
I don't want to pick it up. You know, the brakes here at this place is really amazing because you don't use the brakes. So they're cold. They're whatever, 20 degrees. You stop and you hit the brakes and they go from 20 to 1200 in a matter of a few seconds.
Alan? Pretty good way to spend your first day as our crew chief for Clint Boyer to be in contention to win at Daytona. This is Dan Deeringoff. Dan, can you get up there and get the job done?
Oh, I think we can. Junior's doing a heck of a job of blocking us, but we're just kind of waiting out. Lap or 2 to go. We'll see what we got.
Now, tell me what it was that finally fixed that car when you dropped back so far earlier.
Yeah, we locked the brakes up, and we didn't think we did. After we made that last stop, we saw that the tires are flat spotted. AC Delco Chevrolet just come right back up to the front, and really proud of Clint.
I know Clint Boyer's excited. Marty?
Well, Wally Rogers is hoping that Tony Stewart will make it 2 straight Daytona Busch Series wins. So can he keep it up front and block everybody else from passing him?
I don't know. I think so. I mean, this plate racing with the Wickers, man, it's crazy.
It's intense, isn't it?
Oh, it's beyond intense. But I just told one of the guys, I said, I'm a little bit nervous now, but I am nothing compared to what I was for the last 2 days trying to qualify for this thing.
Yeah. Once you get in and you got a guy like Tony Stewart, you can usually get to the front, Dave.
Now with Cully Barraclough, crew chief for the 99. Okay, I will stay with the 2. I will not leave the 2. Hey, if the 2 is going to drive like that, I might have to pass him. What do you think he's going to do?
Now he's looking for some help from behind. With Michael's experience here, all them younger guys around him would probably do well just to follow along with what he's doing and get up there and get a shot at it, you know?
It's really hard to know, though, really what you have to do at the end of this race, isn't it? Just kind of take what you got?
Yeah. I'm just enjoying watching it. This is a lot of fun right here.
You know, these crew chiefs are fans down here, too, guys.
I agree with him. I'm having fun watching it, too. We're watching the Daytona 500 tomorrow and watching the NBA All-Star Weekend coming up next on TNT as soon as we conclude our coverage of the Hershey's Kissables 300 from Daytona.
Best thing about tomorrow, it's 200 miles longer.
Exactly right. Let's take a look at today's race. Benny getting here early this morning, and the green flag cutting out.
Didn't take long. Lap 3. Kenny Schrader, left rear tire explodes off the corner. He spins around in front of a lot of cars, and luckily no one hit him.
Very lucky right there. Comes back across the track. Everybody got through cleanly. Lap 28, multi-car in him.
And Johnny Sauter blew a right front tire. That's what set this crash up.
Lap 39 in traffic. Jason Leffler contact. Paul Menard, Carl Edwards, and then Anthony Foyt. Right.
And Anthony thought he had the wreck missed. Not today.
Lap 50.
And John Andretti just gets into the left rear quarter panel of Paul Tracy. Turns him sideways, just gets into the wall.
Tracy went back out, ended up in the wall a second.
And then Greg Biffle in 16 gets in the back of Brian Vickers, and he hooks the 9 car, does Vickers, head on in the wall. 6 or 7 cars involved in that crash.
Everybody was okay. Lap 107. Kyle Busch, after contact from Denny Hamlin, sends Jamie McMurray to the grass. Hamlin forced to restart at the end of the longest line for aggressive driving. And David Rudiman in the wall. 10 cautions today. Marty.
Bill, it may say Kevin Harvick Inc. on the side of the car, but we know who the real boss is. It's this lady, Miss Delana Harvick. And are you confident your employee, Mr. Stewart, can pull this one off?
If anybody can do it, he can do it. I'm pretty confident with him.
Now, you told me you're a pessimist. Why? Now, you don't have faith in him, or is it not having faith in everybody else?
I figure if you look toward the negative and it turns out positive, it'll only get better. So that's how I look at it. But he can do it.
Yeah, your husband's in 6, and he's almost getting beaten by your young rookie, Bernie Lamar, who's doing a great job today.
Bernie's done a great job with that Dollar General Chevrolet, and so is Tony. I'm really proud of all these guys at Kevin Harvick Incorporated. It says a lot for what we're doing.
You did very good with a sponsor plug, too.
Thank you.
All right, very good. And she's going to root for 3 guys out here, Mr. Stewart, Mr. Harvick, and Mr. Lamar.
But, Marty, who do you think she's really rooting for?
Mr. Stewart.
Oh, Marty.
Boy, Marty's been working on this material. Yes.
Wrong answer.
They'll get the green this time. Mr. Stewart leads Mr. Earnhardt. 5 laps to go at Daytona.
Green flag, green flag.
All right, BP, start making some deals and waving your hands, because this is where he's got to do it. Junior does get up beside him.
He's got to run on Tony.
And that was really a good move, because that's when you have to do it, is on these restarts when you're going through the gears.
With you have the help up top.
That's the best time to take advantage of trying to pass somebody.
But Michael Waltrip trying to go 3 wide, got on the inside of the 2. And Junior and Tony side by side, both of them trying to find some help.
Now it is. Now it is 3 wide with Clint Boyer going for the lead.
Yeehaw.
Here, 3 wide, 33 on the bottom, 99 up top.
That's Michael. That's Michael on the outside.
Harvick.
Boyer behind him.
In the middle, behind Earnhardt Jr.
Wow, how much better does he get than this?
Who's in 12th? Because they may wind up winning this
Exactly.
thing.
I'm not looking at 12. I'm looking at first.
Harvick is behind Junior. You think he's going to push a competitor by his car?
He may not have a choice.
Gotta go. You gotta go right now. You gotta think about yourself right now.
And Stacy Compton, 59, right behind Tony Stewart.
Outstanding run for Stacy Compton. Stewart in the 33, Earnhardt in the 8, Michael Waltrip in the 99. There's Compton in the 59.
Waltrip got a good shot right there from the 2-car, Clint Boyer.
There's that.
Earnhardt back.
But I'm told that Compton, the 59, cannot run in the middle. Looked like he should have moved up behind Junior, but his car just does not handle well up there.
He's hanging on the Stewart's bumper.
Wow, the 2-car really banging on Michael Waltrip right there.
All of a sudden, the 29 of Harvick, did he recognize that he was helping Junior get by his car, or is something wrong with the 29?
Or that middle lane just wouldn't go anymore. Harvick falls into the low line, the inside line. Come back off Michael's car.
But Michael Waltrip in front.
Waltrip moves over. Stewart thinks about going high and does. How high is he going to go?
Is this Bernie Lamar behind Waltrip? Wow, lucky.
Oh, he jumped out and got behind that other Harvick car. Oh,
man, oh, man.
What? There's a lot of driving going on inside those cars right now.
And Junior's falling back to about 7th or 8th.
Tony Stewart with the rookie, Bernie Lamar.
I wonder if those tires that those used tires that Junior has is affecting his car.
Looks like Lamar's car might be pushing some water. Overheating.
Lap and a half to go. Now what's Lamar going to do?
Oh, he's got to stay behind 33.
Oh, yeah. He's got to push Tony Stewart to victory lane if he can.
That would make Mrs. Harvis happy, right?
Here comes Boyer on the outside.
Coming to get the white flag. Last lap at Daytona.
And Elliott Sadler's a 90 car. All of his problems, there he is, trying to win on the last lap.
Got the lucky dog 3 times today, I believe.
What a nice spot that lap.
I can't believe they make it back start finish line like this.
Down the back stretch for the final time. Half a lap to go. Stewart leads. Lamar, the rookie, second.
There you go. Come on.
Boyer inside of Lamar.
They're down there with you. Come on. Come on.
Don't think he's got enough time.
Mike Dillon trying to urge his driver to the line.
Uh-oh, here we go. Here we go.
Casey Compton into the wall. Michael Waltrip is around.
Denny Hamlin hard into Elliott Sadler.
Stewart takes the checkers. The caution obviously another hard hit. You were right, Benny. They didn't make it around.
Didn't see any way they could.
Cars in the grass. Cars finished on pit road. Field is frozen when the caution comes out. Tony Stewart has won his 2nd straight Hershey's Kissables 300.
It's a shame that we tear up all this equipment on the last just 100 yards from the start-finish line. Who gets in the back of the 59?
It looks like Elliott Sadler may have got the 59 a little bit loose there. Boy, I mean, Denny Hamlin just pounded Sadler.
Let's see again. Yeah, it looks like Elliott might have either that or maybe the 59 just lost control off the corner. Don't know.
Reed Sorensen in the 41.
David Green, Mark Green in 4 car goes through there, makes contact again.
Looks like Jason Keller got a piece of it too, right? Obviously, the concern is to make sure everybody's okay.
J.J. Yaley goes on the grass and drives right through all that trouble.
It happens that quick.
And that close to the finish.
On board with Kenny Wallace as he's involved.
Boy, Kenny just missed that wall.
Goes on forever, doesn't it? Kevin Harvick's car.
Keep coming. Keep coming. All right, back it down. Back it down. Back it down. That was one hell of a job.
Elliott Sadler moments ago. Delana Harvick.
Matt. And Tony Stewart back-to-back Daytona win. this day is a tension breaker to have some fun. Does it get any more exciting than that, Smoke? From the back to the front several times.
Yeah, we no offense, buddy, but we were really bad to start with. But this guy did an awesome job today, Wally Rogers, getting this Old Spice Monte Carlo SS good. We got it good at the end of the day, but man, if you'd have seen the changes we made, it'd have scared you to drive it. But I was gonna stay with Junior there. I got stopped, you know. If I'd have stopped, I'd have got blown. We both would have got blown by. So I just had to take it.
And then the 3 wide racing, 3 rows deep. At what point did you feel it? Then you saw you had the 77, your teammate in the mirror. At that point, did you feel like you had a good shot to get a good push?
Yeah, but I knew he wants to win really bad, too. He's a rookie, his first race with KHI, and I know he wanted to win it, too. But it's nice that we had a teammate there at the end like that.
Tony Stewart, Hershey's Victory Lane celebration, his back-to-back Daytona win.
And as you saw on the graphic, his only 2 Busch Series wins have both come in this race. NASCAR looking at videotapes to help sort out the finishing order. They do that if the caution comes out on the final lap, the only time they use video to help sort out the order. Let's check with Alan.
What was it you said to me when you first got out of the car, Clint Boyer?
That was fun. I don't know how it gets any funner than that. It was pretty crazy, pretty wild out there. We had a fast car, flat spotted my tire right there, and in the middle of the race, and got real tight. Had to go to the back, but we charged back up through them, gave them a run for their money. Had a lot of fun. Hats off to Bernie Lamar out there. His first Busch race for Kevin. He did a heck of a job out there. It was fun racing with him.
Tell me about trying to get around Stewart.
Man, it's a handful. I thought I had him once or twice, and then, they dove back low. I mean, we were trying as hard as we could. Everybody was every which way. Stacey Compton helped me right there at the end a bunch. I hated it that he got wrecked right there, but thanks a lot to him as well.
All right, good luck in the 500 tomorrow. Clint Boyer, Bill.
Unofficially, the top 5, Tony Stewart, Clint Boyer, Bernie Lamar, Stacey Compton, and Elliott Sadler. NASCAR is working on the scoring. Tomorrow on NBC, it's the Great American Race, the 48th annual Daytona 500. Jeff Burton will lead the field to the green with defending Daytona 500 winner Jeff Gordon on the outside of the front row. Our coverage begins on NBC 1:30 Eastern with the Bank of America countdown to green. We'll have the finish order for you in our NBA coverage from Houston. Now we take you to Houston for NBA All-Star Weekend leading up to the 55th annual NBA All-Star Game. Here's Ernie Johnson.